What is up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of the What the Fanboy podcast. My name is Luke Zilke, and I am here with my super awesome friend, Chris Hacker.
What's up, guys? I'm here with our friend and co-host, Tyler Davis.
What's up, fellas and ladies?
Ooh,
Am I introducing
ladies.
our guest?
Yeah, go for it.
We have a special guest here tonight. He came all the way from... Do you live in Inman still?
Yeah.
From Inman, Kansas. Huge place. His name is Blake. What's up, Blake?
Bustling
What's going on?
The Blake Bud.
Hey, guys.
Woo!
How's it going?
Good.
You guys all relaxed from the fun, awesome weekend of Star Wars?
I guess you could say that. If you count not sleeping at all.
Oh, jeez.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
If you went back and revisited the OT.
That's true. I did that, but
I did too.
I did do that.
I did too.
I just needed more Star Wars. So I was like, I'm gonna go watch the OT and Force Awakens.
I just needed Star Wars.
Yeah. Anybody else been doing anything?
I've been reading Lord of the Rings still.
Nice.
Have you finished the first book
Doing
yet?
good. I finished the first half of the first book.
So you finished like 2,000 pages worth of reading.
I finished book 1 of 6.
Of book 1.
No. Because the whole trilogy, each book is split into 2 books, and I finished the first one.
I didn't know that. That's a fun fact. Thank
So
you for that fun fact.
The extended DVDs, the extended cuts, are on each movie is on 2 discs, and those disc breaks are actually very closely lined up to where the book breaks are. So it's actually super nice.
Man, you do learn something new every day.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But they're in Rivendell now, so the
Nice.
entire first book was them getting to Rivendell.
Wow. I'm not going to read that. What about you, Blake? What have you been doing? You guess you can do more than just...
That's so good, though.
We always talk about what we've been doing in the week. What have you been done this year?
This year?
What have you been doing with your life?
Oh, man.
Mostly what movies and video games and books have you been...
Oh, yeah. Well, as you guys know, I'm a big Star Wars nerd. That's why you guys have me here.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, believe it or not.
Do you want to be on
is
our Star Wars episode?
Is that
Yeah, is that okay?
You can be on our Han Solo episode. How about that? That's the next Star Wars movie.
All right, deal. No,
Even though nobody cares about that movie. Sorry.
No, I've just been, slaving away at work. But I've actually been really getting into Game of Thrones a lot more lately. Like reading the lore and history and all that stuff. So that's been really fun. And then obviously, you got Star Wars coming up and you're getting hyped for that, getting prepared for that. This week, I've watched basically the entire saga and the spinoff, but I did it in random order so it'd make me think about each movie instead of oh, this is coming next, this is coming next. So I started with Attack of the Clones. I got the crappiest one out of the way because I said I don't want to watch this. I'm just going to get through it. And then I went to Phantom Menace, and then I jumped to Empire, and then I went to Revenge of the Sith, and then I just randomly jumped around. The last one I watched was Rogue One.
You had to quickly redeem yourself after those first 2, huh?
Yeah.
Go straight to Empire.
Just had to do it. I said, this is ridiculous.
What's it like watching that in just a weird order? Is it just weird? Or is
I don't know if you're going to get into this later, but watching Rogue One before the Last Jedi actually made a lot of sense. There's some things that you'll see in the movie that actually pop in the actual Last Jedi.
Yep.
What?
Spoiler. I think I know what you're talking about.
You know which scene I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because I saw that and I was like, holy crap, that's in the movie.
It's in the movie.
Canon.
Did you see all the other DC and Marvel movies this year?
You're going to hate me for saying this, but I have not seen Justice League yet.
Well, it leaves theaters tomorrow, so
That's okay. I'll get it on DVD.
I'm not.
But I've seen everything.
Not too mad at you, actually.
Okay, but I was listening to your guys' podcast on the way here, and you guys were going around talking about your favorite movie of 2017. Mine is a tie for first place. Logan and Wonder Woman. I love them both. I can't decide which one I like better, so they're both my number one right now. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. If you're listening to this,
Which would be amazing if you
which
were.
would be awesome.
Can you please retweet
Can you
us? No.
retweet me or something at Blake Bye? I mean, come on. All right.
She might be like the most mentioned celebrity or actress on this podcast.
Yep.
I think she's mentioned
easily.
at least like
Yeah.
once a week, maybe twice.
Yep.
Almost as much as my mom.
Hi, Julie.
Yes.
Except my mom is just as famous in my book because she's amazing.
You want a good Christmas, don't you?
I do want a good Christmas.
And there's
I
a
want
much
really good food
higher
for Christmas.
chance of her hearing me say hi to her.
That's right.
Hmm.
You just snapped me, Blake.
No, I didn't.
We're in the same room.
I didn't snap.
I
Did
just got a Snapchat
Did
from
I?
you.
Oh crap! I did. Whoops.
What a noob.
I'm gonna open
I'm a
it.
noob.
See what
I was
this
just giving
is.
a shout out to the fanboys.
Yeah, you've been promoting us pretty hard on your social media.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Here
You're
we
welcome.
go.
I got a
What
lot
the
of
fanboy?
What the fanboy?
We jumped like 5 followers today.
Good.
Yeah.
It's because
Same.
I'm a big deal.
Yeah, clearly. I started watching the Netflix show Dark.
Oh. How was that?
It's interesting. If you can get past the dubbing, which I'm 4 episodes in, so I'm past that now. Like, it doesn't bother me anymore. It only really bothered me in like the first episode and a half, just because I haven't watched a movie or a show that's been dubbed like recently. That's not a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
So it reminded me of I think it was. Do you guys remember that movie Kung Pao?
No.
It was like a
Never heard of it.
stupid like kung fu comedy movie, and it was dubbed, and it was like really poorly dubbed. So like it took me a minute to get used to this, but
Kung
it's
Pao.
dubbed well.
Enter the fist. Right?
Is that what I think? That's what it's called. It was really stupid.
Yes.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was.
So once I got past seeing a dubbed show again, and some of the voice acting really sucks, but like the actors you can tell are really good. It almost makes me, like we talked about, want to watch it in German because it's a German show.
Mm-hmm.
With just subtitles, but the subtitles on the show run so fast, it's kind of jarring. But it's good. Time travel, nuclear power plants, sketchy business deals. It's pretty
Wow.
awesome.
Whoa. Time travel.
Yeah.
You got me already. I don't know if I'll check it out, but we'll see. So I think we should just get started on this. We know why everybody's here.
I'm
So-
just here so I don't get fined. Huh?
What?
So I don't get fined.
I
Marshawn
get it.
Lynch.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
This guy was going to answer every question. I'm just here so I don't get
Yeah, he
fined.
literally went to a press conference and said that to every single question asked.
That was at the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
Yeah, at the Super Bowl media day.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I wish more people would do that because it'd be more interesting.
One time
anyway,
he just complimented the reporters too. Okay, sorry.
What do you think about the opponents that you'll be facing? You're very pretty.
I'll have to find it and show it to you. It's really funny. But sorry, let's move on.
Yep. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It came. It's here. It's out in theaters. It made $220 million. Congratulations, Tyler. It's what you said it'd make way back in our fall predictions episode.
What do I win?
Absolutely nothing.
Pride. Pride.
High five.
Woo!
That was in sync.
I
That was
really
good.
predicted that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I said 235 and Chris said 200. So,
I hit it on the head.
yeah. But I do remember in that episode, I was like, I was going to say 220. And I was like, I'll just go big or go home. Just want to put that out there. That
Sucks to moderate sometimes. you know.
I should have won. Oh, well, anyway, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I'm going to preface this. Your posture is pretty bad.
I'm just trying to be comfortable.
Mine probably is too.
What,
Great
you want me, You want me to
preface.
just stand up straight or sit up straight? Be proper?
Yeah. I'm just going to preface this even before we go into non-spoilers. If you want to see this movie, go see it. Don't even listen to the non-spoilers part. There's no reason to, I guess.
It's really hard to talk about without spoiling things,
Yeah.
so our non-spoilers will probably be pretty short.
And it's Star Wars, so I feel like you should
Yeah.
just go see it. But we will do non-spoilers at the beginning. So I ask you guys, what did you think of Star Wars The Last Jedi? Tyler, what?
Good, not great.
Okay. Chris.
Good movie, did not feel like Star Wars.
I'll go next. I don't know. Blake. What did you think of Star Wars The Last Jedi?
How many have you guys only seen it once?
Yes.
Okay, I saw the first time I saw it, I did not like it. I almost walked out of the theater 3 times. The second time I watched it, it made a little more sense. But it was an okay film. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. I still have to sleep on some things,
Yeah.
but it wasn't my favorite Star Wars movie. That's me being honest.
Sleeping on things has only made it worse for me.
Yeah, me too. That after I saw it, I was like, that was good. There's some things that I'm not too sure about that might kind of bother me. And then I went and couldn't fall asleep like for the past 3 days. On Sunday, I was like, or no, it was Saturday night. I was like, I've got to watch Star Wars, so I watched
When we were
4,
talking.
5, 6, and 7. Yeah, but I have no idea what I think about it, and it's really awkward to say that. I gotta be honest.
I think that I'm the opposite of you guys in that. So Blake didn't like it when he first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Luke and Tyler, you both liked it. Like when you walked out of the theater, you liked it, right?
Yeah, I was like, all right.
I
There's some things.
I liked it. I thought it was good,
Yeah.
but I
But
wasn't overjoyed.
But you'd say that your opinion has declined since then?
Yeah, mine has.
I don't know.
Okay.
See, here's the problem. There's a lot of things in this movie that I do like. However, I can only think about the things I don't.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think
that's how I was.
It's ruining it for me.
That's how I was when I first walked out of the theater. And so I walked out of the theater with like a weird feeling of, I know it was good, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And then as time's gone on, my opinion of it has improved. So I've kind of had the opposite of Tyler.
Well, good for you. I wish mine has.
Yeah.
I'm just over here sitting on a rod fence, and it's painful.
The only reason why my opinion of the movie went up was because the movie itself, if it stood alone, really wasn't that bad of a movie. It's the fact that I'm a diehard Star Wars fan and I was pissed off at the direction they took the characters. That's why I'm still mad about it.
Yep.
Yes, there were good parts of this movie, and we'll get into that later. But the reason what made me mad the most, and I tried not to have my own perspective when I went to watch the film, like, oh, I want Snoke to be Plagueis, or, things like that. Like it was hard for me to take away what I think should happen and just watch the story. But when I watched it the second time, and I finally started to see what Rian Johnson was trying to do with these characters, I still didn't like what he was doing. But that's just my own opinion.
Yeah. There's only one character I was just like, no. But that's a spoiler, so. Well, actually, that's not true. I take everything back that I just said. Oh, yeah.
I think one of the struggles was that they have more characters than the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Prequel, who cares? None of the characters were done well in the prequel. But in the original trilogy, you're really only dealing with 4 characters.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, Leia, Han, and Vader. Like, you're not really dealing with, like, at least you're not, like, seeing any character arc of any other characters, really.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, you're dealing with Luke, Leia. You were dealing with Han. And then all of the new characters as well. And they were introducing new characters in this one.
Yeah.
Like,
here's the thing that I don't like about Disney, what they're doing right now. Do you guys listen to any of the audiobooks? Like, none of that?
I'm strictly movie, TV show canon.
Yeah, and that I think is what's hurting Disney right now, because if you played Battlefront 2, the story mode, or have listened to any of the books, a lot of it has been playing, like the Aftermath trilogy especially. It's playing into this new trilogy, but the casual fan isn't going to want to go do all of that stuff so that way they can watch this movie.
Mhm.
With God, what's her name? Purple-haired lady.
Holdo.
Yeah, she was in the books, like prominent. And
Which book?
oh gosh, what's the name of it? Leia's standalone book. It was do you know which one I'm talking about?
The Chasing Stars.
No, not that
Fallen
one.
Stars.
Not Lost Stars.
Oh.
Not that one. It was I'm gonna look it up.
Leia.
Yeah, it was Leia's book. I can't remember. I
Leia,
didn't
Star
actually
Wars story.
read all of it. I just got through part of it, but she was a big character in that, and she's kind of quirky. She's got purple hair. She's just an odd duck. But they didn't really like flush that out in the movie, so I don't know. I thought it was different, but it's really hard to flush out these characters when you've got lots of them, and 2, you're forcing your fans to read their stuff and buy their stuff so you can make sense of a movie. But
Disney wants you to buy stuff?
yeah,
What?
it's ridiculous.
What?
I'd say just positives. Really, 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 really good action.
Mhm.
And a lot of it.
I thought
Which was nice.
especially the the space fights.
Yeah.
I thought were really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The dog fights.
Yeah, the dog fights.
Those were fun.
A
Really
cool-
like those.
Yeah.
And Mark Hamill. I mean,
I thought he was okay.
he was okay. but the first, like the middle half, or the middle half of the movie, does that make sense? Like the second half, but still middle. I thought that was his best performance I've ever seen. Daisy Ridley, I think she did better in The Force Awakens, but
Yeah, I did too.
but she
Yeah.
still did really, really well in this movie.
I was talking to Logan with this, and I think she is a good actress,
Mm-hmm.
but she's only good when she has to emote. When she's just like having a conversation, it's wooden. I feel like not like what am I trying to say? It's not like ooh that's bad. It's just kind of like she could have done that better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Should I end all of my things with I don't know?
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
just
that's what
keep
you
it
thought
going.
about the movie, so
That's true.
I don't know.
I disagree about Mark Hamill.
Really.
I thought this was one of the weaker things that I've seen him in. I felt like he was really just, I don't know if it was him or the writing or what, but it was just kind of like, hey, it's Mark Hamill. Hey guys, look, it's Mark Hamill. Hey guys,
Yeah.
he doesn't need to be a good actor because it's Mark Hamill.
Well, the reason why I liked Mark Hamill in this movie so much was because I knew how much he did not get along with Ryan Johnson.
And yeah.
And the fact that he still did an okay job tells me okay.
Especially for
Yeah,
somebody who's not an actual actor. He's a voice actor. Yeah.
Yeah, which he actually
Yeah.
did do voice acting in
In the
the
movie.
movie,
Yeah.
which I thought was cool.
Who was he? Is that a
He was-
spoiler?
I mean, kind of, but not really. It's
Okay,
not a
never
big-
mind then.
It's not a big character.
Yeah, you don't even actually know who it is.
Yeah, you don't know who it is. You just have to.
You just know his name and
you
you know
just-
he did it.
I don't know what his name is, but I know what scene he's in and what he's doing.
Okay.
I think
it's kind of funny.
there's 2 actors in the movie that were far better than everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think Adam Driver
Oh, yeah.
and Oscar Isaac
Yep.
are on a completely different playing field than the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
I really liked Adam Driver in this one.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren has like solidified himself as my favorite character of the new group.
Oh yeah.
Like by far. At first I was really like, and after episode 7 I was really like, yeah, I don't know. But now I really like him.
Is Oscar Isaac Poe?
Yes.
Then yes,
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah, those
Did you just
two-
call him Pooh?
Poe.
No, I said Poe.
Oh, I thought you said Pooh.
Yeah, they're just on different playing fields. And I mean, John Boyega's really good too, but he's not near as good as those 2.
Yeah.
I thought he was better in the Force Awakens than he was in this one. I
This,
didn't like auto tune it.
I don't think this is spoilers, but I mean, this had what right now, and I realize that might be because it's still fresh in my mind and this might change over time, but it has what is right now my favorite single scene of spaceships
Hmm.
of any movie.
Yeah. I agree with you. And I think right behind it is the one in Rogue One. But
Yeah.
maybe if we're thinking of the same one.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
never mind. Never mind. I was thinking of something different. But yes, that was awesome.
And I don't know what you're thinking of, but
I know what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Should we do like out of 10s and would you recommends? It kind of rhymes.
Yeah, let's do out of...
do we want to talk about, have we, because I feel like so far we've just said like we really like these parts, but
Talk
we
about what
also we're all kind of like, we don't know if we like this movie. Do we at least want to mention like the fact that even if we think it's a good movie, I don't think any of us think that it fits
we can
tonally with Star Wars.
Yeah, we can all kind of talk about something maybe we didn't like that impacted it.
Okay.
Spoilery or non-spoilery?
Non-spoilery.
Lovely.
Something that I didn't like. There's the second act is very slow because of a certain storyline, and it really bogs the movie down. And I'll just say that because it's kind of a spoiler, but also it's not, but it is.
I would agree. I think the thing I don't want to say I dislike it the most because there's a few things I dislike more that are spoilery, but there's one entire character arc that I felt like the movie could do without, and it really is off-putting.
I'm going to preface this with, I know that especially within our group of the podcast, I tend to lean more towards the serious side of things. I felt like a lot of the humor very much interrupted the flow and took away from the movie. And I felt like it wasn't in the tone of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I can get more into that in spoilers, I think.
I honestly felt like the humor was more in line with Marvel's movies.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would definitely
Honestly,
agree with that.
like, you're right. It is with Marvel movies.
It
But
felt
honestly,
very
that's
Disney.
just how movies are now.
Yep.
They're quippy.
I actually saw
That's
something
just the current
today.
style.
It was like, that's the post-Avengers Hollywood. It's just that. And you just got to get used to it.
Yeah. Like, Justice League was kind of like that.
I think it hurt the movie. I think it would have been a better movie without a lot of those jokes. But I also realized that, again, I don't like jokes as much as some people.
I'm typically pretty, like...
You're the silent laugher.
Luke could probably tell you, I used to really hate on Marvel for the humor, but over the time, it's kind of... I've just begun to accept it.
It's like, with certain movies, I love comedies that are done well. Like, comedies might be my favorite genre, but I didn't feel like it was done well in this movie.
It has to fit the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think because like I very much care about comedy as an art form. Like,
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
and so I don't know if it's because of that it makes me either really like comedy or really dislike comedy, because it's one of those things where if you like something, you're going to like it or dislike it, and you're not going to be neutral on it.
Yeah, I thought some of the humor was kind of...
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of out of place at times.
Yeah, it interrupted the pacing, and it disrupted the tone of the movie.
I think I agree with you, because The Force Awakens, I think, was a good balance of both humor and also seriousness
And
at some
pacing.
level. Yeah, and pacing. It didn't.
Yeah.
The humor didn't take you out of the story. Like, for
Yes.
instance, like at the end of, or not near, but near the end of, like when they're on Starkiller Base, and Finn's like, well, let's just use the Force. And then Han turns around and he's like, that's not how the Force works. Kind of a thing. Like, that was funny, but it also fit with the story.
And it was also in Han's character.
Absolutely.
And
I'd say a really good example from this movie to The Force Awakens would be in The Force Awakens at the very beginning. There's a joke where Kylo's talking to Poe when you first meet him. He's like, so who talks first? I talk first, you talk first. And that was it. In this one, there's a joke at the beginning. But there's a joke at the beginning with Poe. Yeah. Where it was funny, but then it kind of went on I won't say
Yeah,
it because
way too long.
yeah,
Like if it was just a one-liner,
yeah, it would have been
wouldn't
good.
have
I
cared.
think.
And like I'd say Poe's stuff didn't bother me as much because they've kind of made that his character.
Yeah.
Like that's within his character. Like in the original trilogy, when Han starts talking into the
Yep.
starts talking to the intercom on the Death Star when they're saving Leia, he's like, "We're good. We're fine.
how are you?
How are you?
How are you?"
Life's rough.
Like that was hilarious,
Family Guy.
and it was in Han's character, and I feel like they've done that not as well as they did with Han Solo in the original trilogy, but they've done that a little bit with Poe, to where Poe's stuff didn't bother me as much. It was everyone else who that wasn't part of their character when they stopped and made a one-liner that it really took me out of the movie.
I
Yep.
agree.
I'm nodding my head. Yeah, sorry. I
So-
agree.
No visual
Overall-
gags, Tyler.
Sorry you can't hear the rocks rattling.
So would everybody be in agreement that we're all just not really sure about this film? We don't know,
I think,
or do you, I don't know. Maybe that's.
I
just
think
me.
I'm the most unsure.
yeah,
Yeah.
Luke's
Because-
definitely unsure.
I'm pretty sure it's a well-made film, but I don't like it.
I think Tyler. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say I think Tyler and I are on the same page where I think it's a good film and I like it. I don't like it as a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, that's sorry.
It's definitely.
I feel like I shouldn't have to
Yeah.
say as a Star Wars film when we're reviewing a Star Wars movie,
We'll,
but I mean that's
like,
the case.
When we
I
get
would
into-
watch it. I'll watch it again. I'll watch it by itself. I'll watch it when I'm watching all the Star Wars movies, but I feel like it is if you're watching the whole saga, you've got the real rough patch with the prequels, and then
Rogue One is a prequel. I'm just kidding.
Rough patch
Sorry.
for him.
That's why I brought it up.
the second act was great.
Third
Except
act.
Yeah, you're right. Second act was not great.
Yeah.
Second act was rough. And then the OT was great. Original trilogy. Whenever we've been saying OT a lot, it's original trilogy. Was really good. I thought that The Force Awakens was good, and then I feel like this isn't prequel level because the prequels were not good movies on their own. If you took them out of the Star Wars universe, they still weren't good movies. And I think that this is a good movie. It's just not in the tone of Star Wars.
What about this kind of comparison? You have Revenge of the Sith. Whoopsie.
Original title.
Yeah. Oh well. Revenge of the Sith. Got it right that time. Which is a bad movie that has some good stuff in it.
Yeah.
Then you have The Last Jedi, which is a good movie with a lot of bad stuff in it.
Yeah, and I think that I would definitely agree with that. And I think that part of Luke, mine and your struggle right now, I think you mentioned a little bit earlier, at least especially for me when I first walked out of the movie, there was a lot that I liked, but I couldn't like point a finger at it. But the stuff that I didn't like, I could point to and say, I didn't like this specific thing and this specific thing and this specific thing. Whereas I couldn't necessarily do that for things I liked. I couldn't say, I liked this specific part. I liked this specific part. It was the things that stood out were the things I didn't like. When overall, I think that I liked it.
It's just the things that you didn't like about this movie. Well, I say you, but I didn't like about this movie are so glaringly bad.
Yep.
That you just, like you said, you just can't get off of it.
Yeah.
Like
And-
you can't turn your brain off to the fact that something in this movie happened. You're just like, oh.
And like, I think the big problem with me is,
I also think we have different things that we disliked.
yeah, there's something incredible will happen in the movie, but then right after, they do something that just really bothers you. And that happens a lot. There's just a lot of, I talked with Logan and Tyler with this a lot the other day when we were hanging out. There's just a lot of buzzkill moments that you're just like, oh my gosh, okay.
Oh, really?
See, and I'm like sitting on the opposite of that spectrum where I'm like, this is an emotional scene. this is riveting. They're dealing with struggle. And then they just insert a one-liner and completely derail any emotion that might have been happening in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And that was with a lot of characters, not just a handful.
Yeah.
Like, it was with a lot of them.
I felt like every scene that got a little serious, they threw a joke in to break it up.
That sounds like my thoughts on Thor.
Please tell me it was Ragnarok.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand that movie.
I loved that.
But Thor was a comedy.
Right, but I'm just saying it sounds like what I said about Thor.
Yeah.
And also, okay, with Thor, it was a comedy, and they did it throughout a lot, and it was running. They had jokes going through it, where Star Wars was
just whatever was
Stop,
fitting
stop,
at the
stop,
time.
breathe,
stop.
just breathe. Here's a little joke,
There's a porg. Sorry, you can cut that out.
No.
Dang it.
All right. Does anybody have any more non-spoiler, non-spoiler?
Yeah, we've been really flirting with the spoiler line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do out of 10s or no?
I don't know if I can.
Do that after we do the spoilers.
No, we want to do that before we do spoilers.
Dang it.
I'm gonna give it a 7, and I'm usually a fairly. I have no idea. If
His scale's different
Okay, I was about to say.
than a lot of people's, because you use letter grades. I'm just explaining this to Blake.
Okay.
Don't you?
Yeah, but I mean that would mean that I would give it a C. I disagree with that. I guess if I'm doing letter grades, I'm giving it an 8.
Oh my gosh.
I'll give it a B.
Oh, jeez.
I wrote down this morning. I wrote down 6 out of 10. As the day has gone on, it has gone down for me to a 5. It is a 5 out of 10 for me. And I'm typically pretty generous. If you don't have one, don't give one.
Drum roll.
Blake, you go before me.
Well, so when I walked out of the theater on Friday, I said, nope, 2 out of 10. This is it. 2 out of 10. Never want to see this again.
Glad it's on that Inhumans level.
Yeah, and Transformers.
Yeah. And then I went and watched it yesterday. And 3.5.
Wow.
Yep. There are certain things in this movie that we're going to get to in spoilers.
I'm just glad you're the first person to give a decimal.
It's okay. There are certain things in this movie that I don't care if it's a good movie or not. I'm a Star Wars fan, and I don't like the direction they took some of these characters. Period. End of story. Like, The Force Awakens lost a lot of credibility to me because of a certain spoiler that happened at the end.
You can spoil Force Awakens.
Yeah, it's out.
I know.
It's been out for 2 years. Say it.
Han Solo died. I was very angry at that.
Oh.
Because it really didn't... You didn't really have any emotional connection between Kylo Ren and Han, and all of a sudden he's stabbed in the heart with a lightsaber.
Okay.
So 3.5 out of 10. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I don't know, so I'm going to say 5 because it's literally right down the middle.
Me too.
Gosh, I hate myself that I shouldn't have gave a rating. Gosh dang it.
All right.
Well,
let's move into these spoilers because now we can actually talk about the meat of the movie.
Yeah.
So, spoilers if you haven't seen The Last Jedi.
Yep.
Starting...
Spoilers for the rest of the episode. Let's just say that.
Yes.
Until the exit music / whatever's after the exit music.
After dark.
Yeah.
High five.
All right, so we're just going to go through the movie and talk about kind of what happened. So that opening, what'd you think? Blue words popped up and it said a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. What'd you think?
You know, I...
Just kidding. Opening space battle.
Well, no, let's talk about the opening
crawl?
crawl, because I actually really like the crawl. It gave you, like... It's been 2 years since you've seen The Force Awakens. Okay, for some people... Like, not me, but you watch the movie and then you go right to The Last Jedi. Some people hadn't seen it for 2 years and then they see, oh yeah, that's what's going on. So I thought it was a good opening crawl. It wasn't very as long as I would thought it was going to be.
I would say it seemed like
It's
a
really
short crawl.
short.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
really
really short.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot to start reading it at first. So like the words were getting small at the back, and I was like, crap, I have to read this tiny writing.
Yeah, but the opening space battle, I thought was really good.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Like Poe, he's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
like when that X-wing like swung and flew, I thought it was a little bit like, okay, it's probably a little ridiculous that one star or X-wing can take all the guns on a Star Destroyer. I thought that was weird.
But he's the best pilot.
The best pilot in
I know. I'm just saying, it was a little cheesy, but I didn't care. I was like, okay, yeah, let's go.
I thought it was super dope.
During the scene, I was getting so hyped up. I'm like, guys, this is going to be the best Star Wars movie ever made.
Yeah, that scene set expectations high.
I was talking to you about that. I was like, the bar like immediately was just like, and I was like, oh, it's only going down from here.
They got us emotionally invested in a character that we didn't even know their name for a while.
Yeah.
Like
the girl with the moon necklace.
Yeah. Who
blew up.
Who was way better than her sister.
Yeah, but we'll talk about her later.
Yeah,
this is the scene I was talking about that I was like, oh, that's one of the best use of a spaceship, because I was just thinking open scene. But yeah, this is my favorite space battle that's been in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
it was dope.
And
also it was different. Like they had new ships, the new bombers. Gosh,
those
they're
were
slow.
Sweet.
They're slow, but they're awesome. They can do some damage.
Confused how bombs fall straight down in space, though.
The Star Destroyer is so big it has its own gravity.
Okay.
Or what was it?
Dreadnought.
Yeah, the Dreadnought.
Okay, that works for me. I think
I like the Dreadnought.
That's
pretty
just
sweet.
me trying to make up an excuse.
Okay.
I think the bombs use the Force.
I was gonna say, we'll just say the Force did it.
I mean,
that's not how this works.
There's a lot of things that happen in space in this movie.
Well, to be fair, that's not this movie. That's all Star Wars movies, because he modeled his fights after dogfights, and spaceships don't move like airplanes.
How would you know? Have you flown a spaceship?
Yeah. Have you flown an airplane?
I don't know. Battlefront's pretty realistic.
I have flown an airplane.
Okay. Anyway, sorry to detract.
My dad was a pilot.
Oh, he was?
He has pilot's license.
Oh,
he let me fly.
Oh man,
little Cessnas.
Well, my argument went out the window. Gosh dang it! I look so stupid. I have to cut out the past 20 minutes of arguing.
When I was like 7 years old, flew a Cessna. I didn't take it off or land it, but I flew it in the air.
So you held
gosh.
Yeah, turned it and stuff.
Oh, that's a terrifying thought. Nope. Gonna say I'll pass on that one.
You're so high up, there's plenty of time to fix it if you mess up.
Or you just go spiraling like crazy.
Yeah, my heart doesn't need that kind of stress.
Do a barrel roll.
PUBG gives me enough of that.
Yeah, so opening scene.
Super dope.
Yeah.
I loved it. I think it was probably the high point of the movie, if not right below the high point of the movie for me.
Yeah.
It's that scene and one other scene where I was just like, yes.
Yeah. And Luke, you were watching, I think it was Empire when I came down. You were watching Empire Strikes Back, and there's a scene where Han Solo lands the Millennium Falcon on a Star Destroyer.
Yep.
And they can't find him. And that, to me, just reminded me of that scene when he flew his X-Wing in there, because they couldn't target him because he was too small and he was too close. I was like, this still like makes sense with what we've seen in Star Wars before.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciated that.
And I love the look of Poe's X-Wing. It turns out, I didn't know this. I was watching somebody's like Easter egg video, and apparently in this movie, in that scene, BB-8 is the one who says, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson confirmed it on Twitter. Yep.
Except it sounds like...
I read that today.
Yep.
How was my BB-8 impression?
How do you feel about a
Perfect
droid saying, I have a bad feeling?
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't surprise me that this movie did that. Like, just in everything else.
If it would have happened in Force Awakens, you would have been like, okay.
Yeah, but this movie, I'm like, yeah,
of course,
I'm not surprised. Of course,
the thing that's different, it happens in
this one. Yeah. So that's why I was like, yeah, whatever.
I think it's fine to have those like Easter egg throwbacks, especially when they're disguised in such a way that they're not distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Although I
It's
think
like
it
this-
would have been nice to have Luke say it.
Yeah, it's like that Stan Lee cameo kind of thing. You know it's coming, and you're like, ha ha ha, he said it. Kind of
There
thing.
it is.
There it is.
I'm sick of Stanley cameos.
It's okay. He's only going to be around for like 2 more years.
Oh, that makes me feel bad.
Well then.
Wow.
All
Good.
right.
No.
All right.
He's just filming a ton of cameos
Everybody
for all the future
get in their
movies.
piece on that.
Yeah,
Yes.
dogfight was dope. Bomber
right.
scene was
Loved
dope.
Loved it.
All right. Something else that happened in space. What did you guys think about Super Leia?
Oh, jeez.
Blake, what did you think about Super Leia flying out in space and then flying back with the Force?
The first time I saw it, I was thinking, what is happening right now? Like, everybody in the theater
I
at the
love
Warren,
Blake's face
they
right
were
now.
cheering, and I look at my brothers, and they're just like, and I know you can't see because it's like a podcast, but just imagine, like, it was so bad. It was so bad. And honestly, once the scene was over, I was pissed. I'm like,
Pissed
seriously?
that it happened, or
Because
just the way it was executed?
Carrie Fisher was my first crush.
Ooh.
Yeah, she was.
Hello.
Gonna be honest. Princess Leia. I mean, who didn't like her when you were a kid?
I see no hands raised.
Well, you guys are crazy. Because
Yeah,
oh
no.
wait, my hand should have been
Who
raised.
didn't like
didn't
her?
like
Yeah,
her?
Oh wait.
we're
Oh yeah,
agreeing
my
with
bad.
you.
Sorry. Whoops. Wow. Please cut that out.
He's nervous, guys. Bear with him.
Okay.
It's getting
I mean, it
First
just.
time in front of a microphone?
What are you, new?
I'm new, guys. Okay. Like I love Princess Leia so much, and when Carrie Fisher died, obviously I was really sad, but I knew that she was going to be a big part of this film. I knew that they didn't do any reshoots or anything to kill her off or whatever. When I saw that bomb go off and explode, I thought, okay, this is how she's going to die. And I was prepared for it. I was okay with it. At that point, I was like, okay, Princess Leia's gone. I was okay with it. And then the music played. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. It was so bad. And it made me really mad for the character of Carrie Fisher because of that. I didn't like it. It reminded me of Guardians a little bit. Like when Peter Quill is and he's like starting to freeze, you know?
When he's saving Gamora.
Yeah. It was weird.
Am I wrong for thinking that like she's a human?
Counterpoint, they get out and Empire Strikes Back. They walk around on an asteroid.
But she's got a mask on.
So
So
she was dying out there. That's why she's flying back. She had a mask on. She could have been like, "Woohoo! I'm out in space. I'm spacewalking.
And then she had to
Here we
be
go."
she had to be in the medical bay in the stuff for a good part of the rest of the movie.
Where another character should have been for the whole movie. But
Oh, got him.
so sorry.
Okay.
I
thought it,
hated that scene. Sorry.
yeah.
That's my thought.
Okay.
I thought it was
Yeah.
stupid.
I thought it was cool. Like, because she can use the Force, so why couldn't she do that?
Yeah, but
Okay, it also looked like it looked
it was
terrible.
That's what I didn't
Mary
like about
Poppins.
it.
Yeah,
It just looked weird, but I liked that they did it.
like the idea, the concept of it.
Yes.
But it was executed poorly. It did not look well. And with Carrie Fisher dying, they had like
They had an opportunity to bookend it there,
yeah.
and they didn't.
And that's why I would have been okay with her dying there instead of playing out the rest of the movie. Like, I would have been okay with it. I would have been like, oh, she had to die so quick. There wasn't that reunion.
Which it also would have been really nice if she was the one who flew the ship at the end.
That I agree with.
Me too.
Flew the ship.
The lights.
Oh,
Light speed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then
so many ships.
her death would have had Leia's death would have had an impact and influence.
That probably would have saved the movie, in my opinion.
Probably not for me.
I mean,
yeah. All right, we can get into that, Tyler. That's my next point. The Finn and Rose storyline.
Should have been on ice the whole movie. Finn should have not woken up in this one until the very end. And he wakes up and he's like, "Where's everybody at?" Because everybody abandoned the ship. And then he has to figure out what he's going to do to find everybody else. I think that would have been much more fun. Instead, we get a storyline that I felt like was an attempt at like a social commentary.
Yep.
And I get it. Our world sucks, but like I don't go to see a Star Wars movie to be reminded of that. I go to see Star Wars movies to get away from it.
Yep.
So I don't need that. Like I just don't agree with that being part of the movie. But that's just my thoughts.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. Finn's my favorite character besides Kylo. I love John Boyega, but his character was not needed in this one. It just led to some really stupid parts of the movie.
Here's my problem with it. And it goes into kind of another storyline, so we can talk about that too, I guess.
Okay.
So, in this movie, they're being chased in the slowest chase ever made. And
because ships don't have varying speeds.
And Holdo decides... I hated the character Holdo. She was absolute garbage. Yep. So she decides, I'm not going to tell the hot-headed pilot what we're doing.
Why?
I understand Poe just got a bunch of soldiers killed. I get that. Maybe he made the wrong choice with that. Maybe he didn't. They destroyed a dreadnought. Why are you not telling him what your plan is that you're going to try and sneak off? So your hothead pilot goes, Finn and Rose, why don't you go to this stupid casino with terrible CGI, I might add, with bad storylines to go get this codebreaker who's garbage and then come back and none of it matters.
Yep.
And you literally, oops, I hit my mic.
And get captured.
They get captured, but what?
You knocked your mic over.
Oh.
They also get arrested for a parking ticket.
Yeah, it's stupid. But like
plot convenience.
They get captured and then they're the reason that pretty much like all the resistance dies. And it's all because Holdo didn't tell Poe.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, there was one thing that would have made the casino planet worth it.
Yep.
And it didn't happen.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Say it.
He didn't even need to be a big part.
Just a cameo.
Didn't even really need a line.
No,
Maybe
just show him.
line. Yeah,
just like the dude we saw.
Just show Lando.
Yep.
Yes.
And it would have made the casino so much better.
Instead, who was that guy?
The actor's name is Justin Theroux. I don't know who that is though.
Cool.
Unimportant.
Stupid.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
I think it would have been cool if it was Lando.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, if Lando turned out to be the codebreaker, that would have been even cooler.
Or maybe have and use the codebreaker so that influences the story, not just none of this mattered and Rose was a terrible actress.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, somebody else can go now. I kind of talked for a bit there. Sorry.
I mean, I didn't.
I think that led to the cheesiest moment in the movie.
Yeah, that was
the little ring.
Yeah,
we're with the resistance.
Like Power Rangers.
Also, that kid is gonna get freaking murdered by the New Order if they're gonna see that he has a resistance ring and they're just gonna murder him.
# broom kid.
Poor broom kid. Whatever. I don't know. That scene was dumb.
Here's another thought from Logan. I'm going to say a lot of his points since he's not on this episode. But he said they all looked like Polar Express kids. He said they looked
they
fake.
did.
I thought they looked like the younglings from episode 3.
Like dead?
No.
like the actors who played them?
Yeah, like the actors who played them. Like
that'd be kind of cool. Like, I know they're dead, but that'd have been cool if they'd have brought those actors up for it.
Well, they're a lot older.
Adults
They're
now.
probably like our age.
That's true.
They're currently now sitting in a living room going, Last Jedi They ruined the franchise. It's worse than our movie. And it was bad. No, not really. Maybe.
Probably so.
I've seen a lot of people say Star Wars died with this movie. Jason Fabak being one of them.
Best comic book artist today. Look him up on Instagram. He's fantastic.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Let's
get back on track.
That just made me think of it.
Rabbit
So,
Trail. Rabbit Trail.
What is the place? Canto what? Is it Blight?
Baito. Canto Bite.
I just call it Casino Planet.
Okay.
Canto Bite.
I call it Kanto, but I think of Pokemon. So Casino Planet. Yeah, CGI was stupid. Like, I agree. It didn't look good.
So, since we're on spoilers on Canto Bite, Mark Hamill was the voice actor of the little guy that was...
Gambling on BB-8.
No, not that guy.
No.
Oh.
That was... No, Joseph Gordon-Levitt was
Was the
something else.
parking ticket guy.
Yes, that
the
was
one who
him.
was like, I saw him park on the beach, and then they went straight for the casino. That was Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah. He was a little... He was on the craps table, I think.
I
And then-
think his last name's like Ducray or something.
Yeah,
Deuce
something like
Cray.
that. But the
Maybe
Carrie
I'll-
Fisher's dog was one of the aliens in there too, which was kind of funny. Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it's a little turd, probably, but
All right. I kind of introduced a lot of plot lines to talk about, so I guess you can talk about whatever ones you want in there. So,
we have yet to really talk about Kylo Ren and Rey.
oh, we'll get to it. Trust me.
Okay.
We're saving the most crazy ones for the end,
Okay.
I think.
Awesome.
It actually might be next. So
Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to get this crappy plot line out of the
I didn't
way.
like Benicio del Toro's character. I'll say it now.
He didn't need to be in there.
Just I didn't like it.
I really thought he was gonna be somebody different.
I really liked Luke's thought for who he could have been, but another dropped ball.
Yeah.
Mine?
Yeah, you thought that maybe Rey's parents gave Rey to him, and
In my bold prediction.
yeah, I honestly really would have liked that even more.
Not
but
even close.
He was just a throwaway character.
Instead,
Which
we
sucks
got
because
the kid from Derry, Maine.
Oh, got him. Which really disappoints me because Benicio del Toro is a fantastic actor.
And it did not look so in this movie.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy didn't use him that much, but they didn't need to because he played a really good job as the Collector. And they wouldn't have had to use him that much in this movie either, but they completely just botched it.
Have you seen Sicario?
No, I have not. That's on my to-do list.
He's absolutely amazing in that
Is he
movie.
really?
Yeah.
He did a good job stuttering, I guess.
Every time I hear that little, I think of
Rabbit.
well that and
The Office.
in the office when. Oh, Dwight. I've been watching too much Office lately.
Also Hannibal Lecter.
What?
Also Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, yeah.
That's who Dwight's impersonating.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yep. Throwaway character.
Yeah.
Famous name.
Wasn't important to the story.
Also,
Because the plot line that he was attached to
was stupid.
wasn't important to the story.
Something I don't understand about his character, like, did he just decide that it was a convenient time to leave once they got there?
Yep.
Like, he could have left whenever he wanted when he got locked up.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
He's just like, I think I'll leave now. Why not?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Dumb
I don't
plot
know.
line.
That
Dumb.
whole arc of the movie is just stupid. And then, are we just going to carry out their arc? Because the fight on whatever
On Crate?
crate.
Well, I was just...
You want to get in that later?
yeah, I was going to... Unless, do you have something else with that story line? With the casino or Holdo's stupidness besides Lightspeed?
It was the entire reason of that plot was to give Finn something to do during the movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
His first scene, though, in the beginning where he meets Rose, I thought was good.
Yeah,
When he's
that
like
was
about to
really
leave.
good.
He's like, "Screw this, I'm out." Like,
there
I
was
ain't,
some character. There was actual character building happening, and
because
it
we
wasn't
because
for the
we
rest
knew
of-
from The Force Awakens that he was a stormtrooper.
yeah, he's like, "I'm out, dude. We
We're
ain't,
screwed.
I ain't staying here. Y'all about to die. I'm out of here." And then, like, that's where I think you really see the charisma of John Boyega in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like, "I've shocked like 3 people with this thing," and he's like, All right. See you later. Like, I don't know. I thought that scene was great, and then it was just downhill from there.
Yep.
For him, for his story.
All right. So they didn't introduce this technically. I know they introduced it in Rebels. But what did you think about Force Skyping with Rey and Kylo?
I have a question about that. It's truly a question. So Snoke says he connects them.
Yep.
Does Snoke know who Rey is before that?
Doesn't matter.
Why not? Because of the Force?
No.
Because he's
Oh, I thought I took that question differently.
Because he connects them, but like he doesn't know who Rey is.
I think
He just knows of some girl.
Yeah,
So like I just don't understand how he's able to do that.
I guess he could just look into Kylo's mind and be like, "Oh, it's this girl."
Yeah, because he's really good at that. Another gripe I have.
I'm sure we'll get some kind of like material that comes out that'll explain that. Because
we'll get J.J. Abrams correcting it,
or a comic book, or a book that will say.
Well, I won't be buying those. I'll look them up on the internet when they come out. You text me and let me know.
A deal.
Thanks.
The whole thing with the Skyping thing.
I like that we're calling it Skype.
Yeah, we're calling it Skype because that's what it is.
I called it something in my notes. Hold on.
I thought that the way that they introduced it, like when Kylo is on
I called it
whatever
Mind Sync.
ship he's on, and Rey is on Octu, and it's raining, and his hand is wet. That was really cool because I was like, "Hold up, did that just happen?"
It's more than
Does that just happen?
them seeing each other.
Yeah.
They can actually physically interact.
Yeah, it was okay. That's different. That's kind of weird.
And they also establish something
That
there,
there's something connecting them.
but like he doesn't know where she is because he's like, "I can see you, but I can't see your surroundings."
Right.
So then that kind of goes into something later,
Right.
with
Which
Luke.
I think, and I'm not trying to. I don't want to say that I know which direction that this movie is trying to take us, but I kind of have an idea because of what happens at the end of the movie with Luke.
He dies.
Yeah, we're in
Oh yeah,
in
we're in
spoilers.
spoilers. I forgot. Dang it. I don't want to like get too much into it because I'm sure we'll talk more about it later. But
After I go pee.
yeah, so Snoke dies, and he basically tells her that he is connecting the two together.
Yep.
Luke also has that ability to link people together. Sort of.
He links himself to everyone.
Yeah,
apparently.
like with Leia.
I think he's just astro projecting himself.
Okay, so like but that's my question. So how's Snoke able to do that?
See, and that's what we don't know yet. So that's why I'm
The Force.
yeah.
Because like who else has Luke done that with besides Leia? Just his sister,
besides and his father.
relatives.
Yeah, relatives.
Okay.
So to me that like
that's kind of
I would say
my thought.
he did it 30 years ago, so maybe somewhere along the line he got better at it, but then Kylo went nuts. And
See, I think those books are going to, like the ones that Rey stole from the tree, I think that's going to really play into the mystery of the Force and
Did you
stuff.
like the way the Force was used in this movie?
Some aspects, yes. I was a little pissed off at one particular scene.
lightning
No, that didn't bother me.
Oh.
No. I mean, it was like,
when
Okay,
when
that's
Yoda
weird.
shows up and he's like, "Bam! See a tree."
yeah. I mean, but it opens the door of possibility to what they can do in the future with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
That part excites me.
Use the Force, Luke.
But
That was me trying to be Obi-Wan.
I mean,
That's bad.
the ending, the way that they offed Luke like that, to me, I don't think served his character enough justice. in the
Yeah,
movie.
I agree.
Before we get into Luke, can we finish this Snoke
Yeah,
Kylo Rey thing? Because I have a lot to say about
I've
Luke.
been reading a theory on Snoke
Okay.
that it's growing some momentum that intrigues me. I don't think Snoke's dead. I think Snoke is an embodiment of the Force, of the dark side, because in Legends, and I don't even know what book it was, I was just watching somebody else's video the other day, but in Legends, the Emperor was able to, like when he died, move his Force energy to another cloned version of himself and be the Emperor again. I don't think that's the direction they're going.
But maybe something similar.
Similar. Star Wars has been really good, especially this particular, in this new canon, where they're picking stuff out of Legends and sprinkling in there, like the Dreadnought. That's straight out of the Legends. You see it in Rebels all the time with Thrawn and all of these, other material they're putting out. They're picking stuff out of Legends.
They go to a lot of places from Legends.
It's
in
pretty
Battlefront.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, it's crazy. But it is really, really ballsy to kill off Snoke just like that. Like, to me, that tells me maybe Snoke is more than just a body. He is maybe like the actual dark side of the Force. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just thinking. Maybe it's me just trying to justify how crappy they offed him. But I don't know.
They do go into that in Clone Wars too when they go to that.
Mortis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked that episode.
And Dave Filoni really likes that episode too.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's still working for Lucasfilm. So
yep.
Maybe. I don't know.
We're going to see him crawl out of the hole on that planet, the dark side hole.
On Ahch-To.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
I felt like Snoke's death was pretty meaningless.
Yeah.
I felt like there's nothing to it. Nothing to him. Like we just didn't get enough of him.
I felt like we didn't know enough about him. We didn't
to make it matter.
We didn't care about
anything about him.
We had seen him not in hologram form twice.
Yep. 2 scenes.
Yep. We also know that Snoke is from the unknown regions of space. We know that in Battlefront 2, that the Emperor's last command for the Empire was to send whatever remaining troops were left from Jakku, send them to the unknown regions, because the Emperor had felt a calling to go explore there. So that's why I wonder if Snoke is much more than just who we saw in the film.
If something like that would happen, I'd be okay with it. I loved Snoke's death.
Really?
I loved it.
Why?
This scene was my favorite part of the movie.
Why is that?
Oh, like the way that all happened and then afterwards?
That scene and the fight after. I loved how Kylo actually had a plan to overthrow him. Like, to me, it feels like he was trying. He had been manipulating Snoke to a level. Well, he's kind of being manipulated too, but he was really wanting to take out Snoke. He doesn't want to kill his family. He wants to kill Snoke because he wants to be in charge. I've hit my mic so many times.
Yeah.
He wants to be in charge. And so when Snoke's in his mind and he's like, "Oh, you're about to turn on the lightsaber." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm about to turn on the lightsaber." And he just cuts him in half with Luke's old lightsaber. I was shook. I was like, "Oh, they did it. That was so cool." And honestly, I don't care about Snoke.
Yeah, I thought...
Well, I mean...
I didn't care about the Emperor either.
I thought it was a cool way to kill him, but I felt like it didn't have as big of an impact because we didn't care about him.
Right.
Because we didn't know anything about him. Whereas, like... Yeah, I didn't care about the Emperor, which is why the fight with the Emperor wasn't a big deal. Darth Vader throwing the Emperor down the tube wasn't a big deal.
Shaft.
The fight...
It was a shaft.
But Luke fighting Darth Vader...
Sorry. Oh, terrible.
Keep going.
Keep going. I'm done.
But Luke fighting Darth Vader had impact because we cared about Darth Vader. Like, we knew about Darth Vader. We knew who he was. He had enough character behind him that fight mattered.
I care about Kylo, though.
Yeah, but for a fight to matter, you need to care about both characters.
I cared about Kylo and Rey and not about Snoke. I don't get the comparison. I didn't care about the Emperor, but I cared about Luke and Darth Vader.
Exactly. So when Luke,
Exactly. It's the same thing.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't care when they killed the Emperor.
He's just saying why Snoke's death was meaningless.
I
Like
didn't
why there was
care-
no impact.
I didn't care when they killed Snoke. I thought it was a cool way to kill someone. I didn't care that Snoke was dead because Snoke wasn't a developed character. Whereas I cared when Darth Vader died. I cared when Luke was fighting Darth Vader. I would have cared when Ben was fighting Snoke if they built Snoke's character up.
But for me, the important thing is not that Snoke, who we assumed, everybody just assumes Snoke is an important person.
Yeah. Well, and I
when
think
he
the
dies,
problem,
it's not that. It's Kylo's the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem with that, and I heard Collider say something the other day. We were spoiled with the prequels because we got to learn the story leading up to the Emperor taking power. Like, we got to see Sheev Palpatine work his way through the Senate. I mean, yeah, the prequels sucked, but that was still really interesting to see that. Whereas we don't really have that with Snoke.
Do you guys think they're going to give us another trilogy in between?
Oh, please don't.
Do you think they're going to give us a
I hope not.
Let's just shrink the universe a little more.
Yeah, let's just.
6.1, 6.2, and 6.3 to go in between
they're gonna
6 and
be
7?
3 spin-offs faced in between
Oh
the
my
new
gosh.
trilogy and the old trilogy. Spin-offs.
I also really liked that that whole scene is just a huge callback to Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Except it's just the complete opposite. Luke, like, Rey's, she gets captured on purpose. She goes to...
She thinks she's turned Kylo back.
Yeah, but she actually didn't. And then Snoke's like, hey, look out there. These are all your people dying. Emperor does the same thing. But when Luke is like, oh, grab my lightsaber, and he doesn't kill the Emperor, this is the opposite, in which Kylo does kill the Emperor. So it totally flipped it, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a good scene. It really was.
How was your bathroom break, Tyler?
It was great. I really had to pee. Sorry. It was getting bad. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the Snoke, Kylo, and Rey stuff.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of with Chris. I just, like, in a sense. Like, I didn't think Snoke's death felt meaningful at all. And I don't think it was meant to. Like, I don't think they cared. They were just like, we're just going to kill him and force Kylo into the big,
I think I'm
big
like,
bad role.
I'm in such a minority of, I never gave a flying flip about who Snoke was. Everybody's like you're like, oh, he's Plagueis.
Yeah.
Oh, he's this guy. He's that guy. And I'm just like, man, who cares?
Well, and the problem with that is I love to speculate on things. I love connecting dots. And with Star Wars, they're really good at connecting dots besides this film.
Asterisk.
Yeah. Yeah, this one deserves 2 asterisks.
Is DJ in the room?
Unless he snuck in through the door.
It seemed I wanted to, like, and a part of me is wanting to connect the dots again. I couldn't with this movie. I couldn't connect this with the original. It was so different. It was just not like the other movies.
Yeah.
Period.
This scene and what follows it.
Should we talk about the scene, what follows it?
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah,
is
me
that
too.
that scene and the fight that follows. Like, that and the dogfight at the beginning are the 2 best parts of the movie.
Yeah, awesome fight scene with
And the slow motion part where they just, like,
That was cool.
back up, back to back.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, it's about to go down.
And when she dropped the lightsaber and then, like, swung around, went,
Yeah, she
And then-
drops it to her second hand.
that was sweet.
She throws it, he catches it, just goes right into the dude's
That was
face.
sweet.
So many great action moments.
They
Yeah,
make a pretty
I
good
agree.
team.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing?
No.
I wish, but no.
No, that's what we were all saying in The Force Awakens.
This is one of the moments where Logan and kind of me were like, buzzkill moment. Because right after that, he's like, join me, Rey.
Yeah.
I felt like that kind of killed it. I feel like he should have been like, yeah, I'm on your side. But I'm not really. Yeah, let's go find Luke. so we can chop his head off.
I think.
Yeah.
But they just went straight, join me, Rey. And she's like, nah.
So I think.
And then something amazing happens. But
you so you and Logan had said that had you flipped this fight, or maybe not particularly this fight, but Luke's fight at the end and this fight, flip them between Act 2 and 3, and you think if the movie ends with this scene, would you have been okay with that?
yeah, I think I would have.
I think it would have been. I didn't talk about this because when you said it, I started to think of this. But if you flipped Luke's fight to Act 2, and you make this Act 3, and you end the movie with Kylo reaching out to Rey, I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Because then
You would have to change some story elements,
right?
obviously, but
right. But I'm just saying,
I would have preferred that. Yeah.
I think if they'd have done that, and then because like at the end of every Star Wars movie, you leave the theater like, where are we going next? This is going to be awesome. I can't wait to get the answer to this question.
Yeah.
This movie, I didn't feel that.
No.
And I feel like if you end the movie with Rey and Kylo holding his hand out to Rey, you go into 9 like, is she going to say yes? Like the whole time you're like, surely she can't say yes. I just think that would have been really cool.
But there's never been a Star Wars movie that ended
Open-ended?
And then the next one picked up right where it ended. There's always been a gap of time between each Star Wars movie.
Last Jedi takes place.
Yeah, it's right after.
That's the only one.
Right after 7. This movie is the only one of a lot of things.
The Last Jedi picks up literally, because then, like at the beginning of the movie, you see Rey handing him the lightsaber.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, you're right for Rey's story, but for everyone else, it doesn't. Everyone else, they're in time has passed because they skipped over however long it took Rey to get there.
But we don't know how long either.
Yeah.
I've also heard that scene where Rey is in The Force Awakens, where she is giving him the lightsaber, that's like a in credits scene almost. Does that make sense? Like I've heard people kind of call it that. Oh, sorry. Which would make sense to your theory about it taking place a little bit after.
Yeah.
But I don't think they went that route.
I don't know. That was just my thought. Sorry.
Yeah, I really like that, yeah. And like you could have then even had them go into another lightsaber duel like the first movie, except, maybe Kylo could beat Rey because
She's never been trained.
Yeah, and he hasn't been shot by a bowcaster and cut all over his body from
trees and
already,
lightsabers. Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing that I still have a hard time with Rey's character.
Mary Sue-ish.
It just seems like they've just been like, you have the Force, you're amazing. Go do stuff. Like
that's one of my complaints about the movie. They're like,
yeah.
Not like the Mary Sue problem, because it is there, but like just when she's supposed to be on Octo 2 training, she trains for literally like an hour.
Yeah, she's just chasing Luke the whole time.
Yeah,
which I thought was
kind
of dumb.
It was boring.
It really bugs me.
Also, there were some time problems in this movie of like the time passing on Octo versus the time passing on the ship that was moving. It's like,
I kind of have that problem with Empire too.
Have like night and day stuff happening here, and then we have 6 hours of fuel left that's going to last for
half the movie.
A multi-day training montage.
Yeah. Like in Empire, Han Solo, Leia, and Chewie, they're flying through space in the asteroid field. But in this time, Luke has already made it to Dagobah, found Yoda, and then they make it into the worm thing, and Luke's doing flips, and then he's like, I saw the future, I gotta go. It's like, how long were they on that asteroid? I don't know. Sorry, I'm talking about Empire now. I love that movie.
Yep. My favorite one.
My favorite as well. Sorry, that's off topic. But yeah.
Should we keep moving this thing?
Yeah. Sorry.
New Hope is my favorite.
It's my second favorite. It's brilliant.
Yeah, A New Hope is really good.
New Hope is my second favorite, based solely because of the nostalgia behind it. The story itself is also like, really good, but Empire is just on a whole nother level of storytelling.
All right, we need to get this thing moving.
Yeah,
All right, next thing on my list is Captain Phasma.
Oh, jeez.
Everybody, give me a fart noise. Thank you.
Thumbs down on that.
Glad Finn killed her.
Again.
Killed her, in quotes.
Yeah, second time he's killed her now.
Yeah, Phasma sucks. Let's just move on from that.
If there's no body, they're not dead.
Well, okay. I just don't understand why you get Brienne of Tarth to come in and be in a Star Wars movie and you kill her off twice.
Because nobody knows who that is.
Sorry.
My mom doesn't know who Brienne of Tarth
I
is.
know, it's just the nerd coming out in me.
Wow.
Sorry.
My mom's got mentioned twice on this episode.
Hi, Julie.
All right. So I know this is the next thing on my list. This is one of the best parts of the movie, and it's about 5 seconds long. Do you want to talk about it, Chris?
Yeah, so this is definitely the best part of the entire movie. When they use a lightspeed jump to destroy Snoke's ship.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Is it in Star Wars? Is it lightspeed?
Yes.
Yep.
Ludicrous speed.
Yeah, not
Warp speed.
not hyperspeed or whatever.
They've gone plaid.
What's hyperspeed in?
Hyperspeed?
Like
There's hyperspace.
what's hyperspace in?
That's like when you're in light speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is Star Wars, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that
Okay.
is.
Star Wars is hyperspace, and
Hyperspace is the wormhole that you go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or, I guess, is it a wormhole? I don't know, whatever. It's Star Wars.
Yeah. So yeah, use that to basically turn that whole ship into a giant missile, and that, like, the concept of it is already cool enough to shoot a ship at light speed at another ship. But then the way they showed it was really cool. The movie went silent, and you saw the flash of light cut through the ship and the ship break.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, once the silence broke, it was just chaos.
Yeah.
Do you know what the name of that ship was?
Which ship are you talking about?
The
Snoke's ship?
no,
or
the other one, the rebel one,
The Resistance ship.
Resistance.
the
yeah.
Radis.
Radis. Isn't that sweet?
Boom!
Good old Admiral Radis, straight out of Rogue One. Thought that was a really cool callback.
Oh, also out of Rogue One. And while we're talking about
Oh, yeah.
hyperspeed,
Connections.
I did see
Yeah.
this on Twitter today.
talking about the hyperspeed thing. Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about? Yeah, how they were able to track them.
I remember that scene now.
They were able to
I had to
track
go back.
them
I had to
through-
go back and watch it, but basically, so Jin and Cassian are looking for the plans
to the Death
on
Star.
Scarif, and she runs across something called hyperspace tracking, it's
Yeah.
hyperspace tracking, and then she says her name, which is Stardust, which is the plans for the Death Star.
And a movie by Matthew Vaughn.
So cool.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted
Yep.
to be able to
Yep.
get your call
Yeah.
back there.
The
Yep.
Lightspeed missile is
That's awesome.
one of the most visually
It's one of the coolest
And
pieces of cinema I've ever seen. Audio?
Auditory?
things I've seen in a movie in a really long time.
It was awesome.
Like, just when it happens and it's silent, and then just throughout the theater you hear, oh my gosh, just like in different places. And everybody's like awestruck, and then just boom, and things just get nuts after that.
Yeah.
I like
That
how
was sweet.
it is funny that when we hear that, you hear people like, or you just hear coughing the whole movie, which is also great.
Oh my gosh. Screw that kid.
Sorry. I opened up that wound.
Next. Okay.
Yes.
I'm saving all my ammunition for one.
I'm going to get this one out of the way. Rose Finn love story.
Dumb.
Garbage. That kiss ruined everything.
I don't
didn't
think it
even-
was a love kiss, though. I started to think about that because I don't.
Like
it
John
wasn't
Boyega didn't know it was coming when they shot it, and they were
Yeah.
just like, "Yep, take works,
Just do
whatever."
it. But I didn't see it as like and maybe it's just me. I didn't see it as they loved each other.
I didn't view their arc at all like it
Mm-mm.
was romantically
No.
involving.
But
Not
I'm
at
pretty
all.
sure that's all the kiss was. That's what I felt, and it's bad.
I
She's
know.
going to
Yeah,
be
and
all
she-
jealous now that Ray's back.
Well, and
Yep.
she was like,
I would be too.
"You don't fight the things you hate; you save the things you love," and then kissed him. I was like,
And then also let everyone that like, I'm sure people died in that explosion that he was about to go stop.
Yeah.
Do you not love them either?
If she would have said that and died, I would have been like, cool. That's really cool. Nope, she didn't die, and she kissed him, and it
Now it's going to be weird.
killed it.
Now it's going to be weird.
She's going to wake up and be like, sorry, I kissed you. I thought that I was going to die. And now that I'm alive,
I was so
I
drunk.
don't like you.
I was so drunk when I was driving that speeder. Sorry.
And now he's going to be, or she's going to be super jealous because he's basically in love with Rey.
I didn't like that.
I didn't either, but
Yeah, we don't need to talk about them anymore. All right. What'd you think about just the crate AT-AT? What are those called?
Who doesn't love AT-ATs?
Oh,
I
I
don't
didn't know if they had
remember
a different name
They
or not.
do have a different name, but I don't remember what they're called.
Well, we're going to call them AT-ATs
And if
for
you
sake of
look,
convenience.
If you look at them,
AT&Ts.
they're more like fists, and they have razors on
To
the
keep-
thing, speeders from
Yeah.
flying around them, so you can just cut them off. It's pretty sweet.
They've adapted and overcame.
It took them 30 years.
I don't even remember what the meme is, but it's where he's like pointing at the
It's Bear Grylls.
yeah, that guy. It's so funny.
I thought this scene was pretty good.
I thought it
Yeah,
looked
I enjoyed
really,
it.
It was visually stunning.
Yeah.
It looked really cool.
Crate's a pretty cool planet.
Yeah.
Where was I reading? So Crate used to be like a rebel base, like right after the Battle of Jakku, I think, or right before. I think it was right before. So it actually has a little bit of a
Mm-hmm. I think they kind of talk about how it was abandoned in the movie for a
yeah.
bit.
And my brother's read Bloodline, and he said that it was.
Was that the
mentioned in
Leia book?
Bloodline. Yes, that was it. Gosh, dang it! Why can I not figure it out earlier? It's Bloodline. Bloodline is the Leia book. It's also really good, even though I've only read half of it or listened to half of it. Go buy audiobooks.
Any seconds, Chris?
Oh.
You second buying audiobooks?
Yeah, no, 100%. I love audiobooks.
It's so great.
They're my favorite form of media.
I started listening to Game of Thrones on audiobooks. So much better.
Nice.
Oh, it's great.
Great. Okay.
I thought that the fight looked really cool with like the red dust.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of red and black contrast in the movie as a whole.
Yeah. Very visually appealing.
Oh my gosh.
They were like shoving it down our throats with it.
That like
almost.
throne room, red and black, was awesome.
It was cool.
Guys, I just thought of the best meme ever.
What?
There we go.
So you know the guy who's in the trench and
He licks his finger
he looks
Yeah.
and he's like
It's
salty,
That
and
guy-
then you have a picture
with salt.
of fans of Star Wars because we're so salty.
Do you know
about this
who the
movie.
guy was standing next to that guy?
Gareth
It was Gareth
Evans.
Edwards.
Edwards. Gareth Evans did the
Gareth
raid.
Edwards.
The guy who directed Rogue One,
Gotcha.
except for the third act, which is the good part.
Yeah.
Which he was also in that act too. He was the
Wait, he didn't direct the
Yeah,
third act of that movie?
No,
They
Gareth. He was in like. So Gareth Edwards was in the Tantive 5 when it's releasing off the star or the ship that takes the plans and flies away. Gareth Edwards is the guy that pulls the lever that releases the ship from and goes into space.
For reshoots, they brought in a different director, and it was pretty much the whole third act.
Yeah,
So the good part of that movie is not Gareth Edwards.
Yeah,
Unless you do like that movie, then I mean, I do like that movie.
I love that
Okay,
movie.
whatever.
To be honest,
I didn't put it on my rankings list.
I did.
I just did the episodes.
All right, next thing I have here written down: Luke is a hologram.
Ugh. Boo.
Hated it. Although I never really thought until you said moving that to the middle of the movie. I
Well, it
kind of
just
like
didn't
that.
feel like a final fight. I
No,
thought that
it was.
It's so stupid. It made me so mad. He had the wrong color lightsaber.
Yeah.
So
if
like
you'd-
Kylo is blinded by rage, I guess is what you can say, that
'Cause
he doesn't
Kylo-
realize.
Kylo saw that lightsaber get broken in half when him and Rey were fighting over it.
Right.
And I was so confused during the movie of why he had that lightsaber.
Yeah.
It was so dumb.
So I knew something was wrong the whole time. I didn't know he was a hologram but-
his his facial hair, he had like the same facial hair he had when
when he was younger. yeah.
attempting to kill Kylo, which when we talk about Luke as a whole, I'll get more into that. But
Mhm.
like I don't know. I thought that was dumb. And like this whole like brushing his shoulder off thing, I didn't like that.
I didn't either. It was one of those added jokes.
Yeah, one of those things that disrupted the flow.
I did not like that. Like, it doesn't break the movie. Like, if, say I loved the movie, that wouldn't have broken it for me. But I did not like Luke Skywalker being like, son. Like, I just thought that was dumb.
This was the part of the movie when I saw Luke come back. I thought he just cleaned up all that stuff, and then he gives Leia the Han's
the dice,
which we're gonna get into later because there's a big reason why I'm still really mad about this film, and it has to do with Han Solo. But anyway, whatever. I thought at that point, this film was gonna be redeemed, because at this point I'm just mad. I'm like, this is not what I thought it was gonna be, and I'm really, really upset. So when I saw Luke walk out there by himself, I was thinking, okay, this is about to go down.
That's what I was thinking too.
And then I was let down.
So for
really
me,
bad.
I actually thought the hologram stuff was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
However, I didn't think the movie was over. I was like, I think this is
the end of the second act.
I thought it was the end of the second act. I thought there was still going to be another fight. And then he died. And I was like,
what?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was...
That's such a stupid way to die.
I agree.
And
especially a guy like him.
I think a lot of the way Luke was used was bad.
I agree. I felt like he didn't seem like Luke from the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he didn't even seem like any version of Luke ever.
Yeah.
Like, even now.
Quit talking about me like that, guys. No, I was kidding.
I like you a whole lot more than I liked Luke Skywalker in this movie.
Oh, I thank you.
But that's not saying much.
Like it when we first see him again.
Wow.
And he holds the lightsaber and then just tosses it over his shoulder. Like, I was like pretty ticked off about that.
Okay, full go on Luke here, because I'm ready to just blow this up. Okay, if someone handed me something that I used to potentially kill my father, I think I would have looked at it a little bit longer than just doing this.
Yeah.
Like, that belonged to his dad. He used it to fight his dad. Like, you just toss it? Like, that's it?
To me, that was
like that.
That was a visual metaphor
for what they're doing with the series.
Yes. That was like me seeing Ryan Johnson saying, okay, yep, nope, see ya. Like, to JJ. Like, thanks, JJ, but no thanks, kind of a thing. I didn't like it.
So, Luke Skywalker is my absolute favorite cinematic character ever. For obvious reasons, it's because we have the same name. That's just what happened when we were a kid. When I was a kid, I was like, this guy's awesome. He's got my name.
Yeah.
And he is awesome, and I eventually kept growing to love him because I think he is super awesome. He did not remind me of that in this movie, not because of necessarily like of him thinking about killing Kylo. It's the fact that he quit. In the old movies, all he wants to do is keep going. He wants to join the rebellion. He wants to... He keeps pursuing. When he's getting his butt handed to him by Darth Vader, he never like quits. He's not a quitter.
Right.
Nope.
And then
he just closes everything off.
He's just gonna let the whole galaxy go into chaos because he failed. And yes, this movie is technically about failure. That's what Yoda says. I just don't buy him. Okay, let's talk about that. Why didn't Yoda or Ben or Anakin or any of those gosh dang Force ghosts show up a little bit early and be like, what are you doing?
Yep.
Or when you start the new trilogy, have the first one include him failing in that and make it meaningful and impactful enough to the audience that it would make sense for him to turn from his existing character and leave everything he's ever worked for behind.
Yeah.
I think that would have made a great 7th movie, which would have then led into a much stronger
And then go
8th movie.
and then do a time jump.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, as much as the sequels were garbage, but a time jump similar to from
1 to 2.
1 to 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated that. Like, because Luke Skywalker is definitely like one of my favorite cinematic characters. I don't know if he's my absolute favorite, but he's definitely one of them. And like for me, I just don't imagine Luke being like, I think my nephew's a little bit evil. I should probably kill him in his sleep. That seems like a good plan. Like I feel like he would have talked to Han and Leia. He would have found any other way to bring him back before resorting to that. Because I mean, like he even tried to bring Darth Vader back. Darth Vader was so far gone, and he had only known that it was his father for like, would you say a year?
A year or two.
He knew Ben Solo. Ben Solo was his nephew from the beginning. Like he grew up loving him, and like he's just like, first little son. Yeah, we're gonna kill this dude. Screw it.
Stab you when you're sleeping.
Which
Right.
I felt like
no.
I felt like Luke seemed like he didn't really care about anyone.
No, he didn't.
Like,
Which is not his character at all.
The character had zero heart in the whole movie. Zero. Not even a little bit.
I'd up that to a 00.
Like none. Not even. And Luke Skywalker, like you said, he doesn't give up. He's like one of the most, I don't know how to say, heartful. He has like one of the biggest hearts in all the movies.
Even at the end when
he has
he's
the
like,
most heart.
even at the end when he's like, "See you around, kid," that was kind of like, what? First of all, Han says that, not you. Second, it just doesn't seem like your character you would do something like that.
I didn't think he seemed like himself the whole movie.
No.
But
There was
whatever.
like, okay, and I'm not trying to counteract, but there were certain parts where he did, like when he first saw R2,
Yeah.
and he's like,
that-
R2? And he like perked up a little bit, and then it was killed again when he's like, cheap shot kind of a thing.
Or
Then
when
he went back to grumpy old man.
Yeah,
he went and got his milk. Ugh.
that
That was
gross.
stupid.
That was
That was disgusting.
that's really gross.
and unnecessary.
Yeah. That
Oh.
was stupid.
That was almost as bad as the Finn drinking the nasty water on Jakku, as the terrible CGI robotic whatever it is,
Giant.
whale hippopotamus thing looking thing.
Yeah,
That was weird and gross.
the handling of Luke Skywalker in this movie was absolutely atrocious.
Yep.
And part of why I think I dislike the movie so much.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot get off of the fact that Luke would not resort to killing Ben Solo. I just can't. I can't get off of that. And I can't get off of the way he was killed off, I guess. I don't know.
Think
And
we're gonna
his-
see a Force ghost in the next movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, you have to. I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
And Force ghosts are as good a dead as they are alive, I guess.
Yeah, apparently they can still bring down lightning from the sky.
yeah, that was weird to me. But it's like what you said earlier with the Force thing and Mortis. Like, I think that's kind of the route they're going on, where the Force is more than just what you can do. It's a thing, if that makes sense.
Like it's an
Yeah.
object.
Like, not an object, but it's
It's in all of us, and it's in
Yeah.
all of our surroundings.
So when we die, we
Midichlorians.
become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your midichlorian count?
It's off the charts.
I'm gonna be quiet.
Are
I
you
almost said
chosen
something
one?
bad.
It's over 9,000.
So did you guys feel like that's a Dragon Ball Z reference? I like it. I think Vegeta says that. Sorry.
I've never seen Dragon Ball Z.
Like, do you guys feel like they kind of slighted like the overall theme of Star Wars? Because it's always been like a family thing. But like, I don't know how to ask this. Do you feel like they kind of undercut the Skywalker legacy
Yes.
with this movie?
100%.
Do you still have that tweet that you read the other day?
Which one?
The one about Darth Vader being.
Oh,
annoying?
no, but I kind of remember what it says, like Darth Vader being Star Wars' biggest franchise sell, and then you just completely undercut it by saying he's pointless, is essentially what it said. Saying he's nothing to anything. He's nothing to the Force. Is kind of how it went.
Because my point to that is the entire prequels were built on Anakin Skywalker being the chosen one made out of the Force and a virgin mom.
Okay, knock on the prequels. They're terrible movies. Okay, I'm not saying that.
Yep.
The story is there.
They
just botched it.
They didn't execute it.
Poor
No,
execution.
absolutely. And the problem is with this new trilogy, it seems like the story isn't there, but the movie is. Would you guys agree with that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
don't
kind
know.
of spaced off for a
Oh.
bit because I was thinking what I was going to say next.
I
That's
just
okay.
like I feel like they undercut the Skywalker legacy, which these movies have always followed the Skywalkers. Like that's kind of been the theme for all of them.
Although, I mean, Ben's not a Skywalker in name, but he's still
He's still a Skywalker.
still a Skywalker.
Well, that's
he's
what I
still,
mean. That family line.
He's still Anakin's grandson, and I think we're gonna get his redemption in the next.
I hope not. I know that sounds bad, and I just completely disagreed with you.
I feel like, yeah, they could still do it, but at this point, I feel like
No.
you missed the opportunity because it should have
Yep.
came in this movie.
Should have came right after that fight where they fought together. I
But then
think.
there wouldn't have been any bad guys.
Unless Snoke isn't
Unless
dead.
Snoke stands up and
Yeah.
little robot legs emerge from his chest, and he goes, "You do this to me," and then he force pushes them outside through the window, and they're like, "Will Superman force pull ourselves over to their ship?" In which you call back to the beginning of the movie when Leia did it. Man, I just fixed this entire movie with robot legs.
And Snoke. Wait, smoke? Are you saying smoke? Have you seen that deleted scene?
No.
Oh my gosh. I'll have to show it to you. It's hilarious. It's from The Force Awakens. It's pretty good.
I don't know. I'm still hoping someone would answer my question.
What was the question? I don't remember.
Do you
it.
feel
Yeah.
like it was they undercut the Skywalker legacy?
I
Yeah.
did answer it.
The thing with
My
the
answer was no because of Ben.
my thing,
Because of Ben Solo?
it's not that they didn't undercut it. It was the fact that they just acknowledged it and that was it. Whereas the previous movies, even the prequels,
Which
that is like the integral part of the story is the Skywalkers. Whereas the new trilogy is Ben Solo is just a grandson. It's not, I don't know. I just really don't like the direction that they went with it.
Like people are like, well, now anybody can save the galaxy. Well, not all Jedis were Skywalkers.
Nope.
Like before. So like that. To me, that doesn't change. That never was the case.
Mm-hmm.
I think you summed it up the best, Luke, when you said too much, too fast.
Yeah, my analogy when me and Tyler were talking was they wanted to shift the direction of the stories away from the Skywalkers, away from this, away from that,
Yeah.
And they were doing that by getting rid of old characters and old themes and old things like that.
Tropes.
So
Yeah.
why not use
So-
those characters as like a...
So what they did was when they swerved, they did it too hard
Yep.
and too quickly.
Yeah.
Because now Han is gone in the first movie, Luke is gone, and now Leia's gone.
Carrie Fisher's gone.
Because they have to kill her in between movies.
they have to
now.
figure out how to do it. And they missed their chance with this one.
So I think you can shift the status quo away from the Skywalkers. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be about the Skywalkers. But
Yeah.
don't do it just by killing him off.
Like
Yeah.
that quickly.
Killing him off in air quotations because, yeah, he's
Mm-hmm.
not technically dead.
I would have been okay with this new trilogy that they made if they didn't use them hardly at all, in my opinion. Like, the story, I think, is good. I was thinking about this last night in the shower.
Yeah.
I said, shower thoughts.
Hashtag shower thoughts.
Yeah, hashtag shower thoughts. Like, what if they just used the main three, like The Force Awakens went a completely different route, and they only used the main three as, like, not cameos, but, like, sparingly, like they did with Darth Vader and Rogue One. To me, I thought that was the perfect balance of using a Skywalker, without, and also introducing completely new characters. Granted, it was in the same time period, so it's pretty easy to do that. But like to me, that would have been a better send-off because the end of Return of the Jedi ends so well, with everybody being happy and excited. But that's not the direction they're going.
And Lando.
And the Ewoks
I'll show you
the
that later.
stormtroopers.
Okay.
The what?
So at the end of Return of the Jedi, the last shot is all them standing there on Endor.
Yeah.
And they're all looking at the camera and smiling. And then this is hard to do for people just listening, but everybody in here can see it. But Lando's just standing, he's just looking around, just kind of clapping like this, and then goes credits.
No.
It is so dorky looking at it. It's so funny.
Oh, like, is it just as good as the stormtrooper knocking his head on the doors? He's coming in on the Death Star.
Just as good.
Oh,
jeez. Maybe
I
even
can't
better.
believe I've never seen that.
Maybe better because nobody knows about it.
I can't believe I haven't seen that. That's insane.
He's not clapping to like anything. You can just tell he's just clapping his hands.
I'm sure George was like, "Yeah, let's just do that. just kind of clap around, you know."
Hey, Billy D, do your thing, man. Show me that clap. Oh, that sounds dirty.
Anyways,
we are off topic.
What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Story
What's
of Luke.
next?
Luke?
Or the story of the Skywalkers.
Any last thoughts on Luke characterization? Since that's kind of where we were.
JJ, don't screw it up. That's all I'm going to say.
Good luck, JJ.
That too.
Good luck fixing
Good luck. You're going to need it.
Do you think like JJ watched this movie and was like, "Oh my gosh, now what?"
He was like Mike Tomlin last night watching the game, kind of a thing.
Oh, we didn't talk about Rey's parents thing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's kind of a big deal. I still think her and Kylo are siblings.
I don't think they're siblings.
I do.
Do you think that they're gonna kiss and Finn's gonna get upset, and then later they're gonna be like,
No.
"He's my brother."
We're breaking the status quo, remember? That's the whole point of this movie. Just to break all the tropes they've done before. But the reason I think this, and I'll say credit to Dana for pointing it out to me, and it goes back to the Snoke linking them, even though Snoke doesn't know who Rey is. He just knows of her. In that scene, like when that happens, it shows Luke and Leia connecting, and then it cuts immediately to Rey and Kylo doing it.
I've seen that.
And I was like, siblings, like relatives, like it's always relatives that connect like that.
Don't you think that
You all right over
things?
there?
Yeah, I had an itch in my ear. Sorry. I'm not used to this, guys. I'm new. Okay. I think that if that were the case, The Force Awakens would have been a little bit different. I don't know. I mean, I would love it. I would not be mad.
The age difference between them, is it significant? Do we know how
Yes.
do we know how old Ben was when he left the temple?
Okay, prior to The Force Awakens, Luke lost the temple 6 years before that.
Okay.
And I think he was 19. Or he was 19 then, so that would make him
25.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't really understand how they could be siblings and him not know.
Well, Rey was given up when she was a child. And
so why...
And Ben would have been off with Luke.
So why would Han and Leia give up their daughter unless it was around the time that Ben left the temple and they were like, he's going to want to kill any Skywalker line because they'll be Force users. And so then they would have hid their child. But like I don't see any reason why they would have done.
Yeah.
And why Han and Leia wouldn't have known.
Leia definitely, I think, would have known. And she would have mentioned it in this movie. But I do also... This is why I think that Ryan missed the boat. I mean, I think what he was doing in that scene was trying to compare and contrast the two. But I would love to see Rey be her brother or sister or whatever, sister. I just don't think that's the direction they're going, which saddens me a little bit. I think Rey is something more.
Well, they are pushing the idea of low-born people being powerful.
Yep.
Like the whole ending shot of the kid with the broom.
#broom kid.
Yeah, Broom Kid.
Hashtag Broom Kid. Oh wait, you
Like this little
Sorry.
Casino Planet slave boy is gonna end up being a Jedi probably or something. And
Youngling.
yeah, so they're really pushing this idea of people who aren't, born from a important Jedi heritage are still able to be powerful.
But that's why I said earlier in like I know the prequels suck, but in the prequels there's like tons of other Jedis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also the whole point of the prequels was that all of them were hunted down and killed by Darth Vader.
Right. Well, here's my. Can I give my Rey theory that I have?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Here's what I think, and I think this movie doesn't. I mean, it doesn't give away her heritage at all. I think Kylo's just messing with her.
I do too.
Me
I think he's just saying that because he's trying to get
Her to join. Like
Yeah.
he's like nobody
Right.
cares about you. I will.
I think Rey, and I'm going to be bold here, but I think she is a child of the Force. That she was conceived by the Force, just like Anakin was.
And that's
Because
why she has memories of the planet that Luke's on.
So you think she's the actual chosen one?
no, I think Luke was the chosen one.
Anakin was the chosen one.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Anakin brought
Anakin
balance
was
to the Force when he
right.
killed the
I
Emperor.
think because
And when he killed all the Jedi.
And we called it Jedi.
because if you think that she's the child of the Force, that would explain why she's so powerful. Does that make sense?
What if there's multiple children of the Force?
Exactly.
Because
Yes.
what Snoke was saying about whenever one side gets more powerful, the other rises to meet it.
Yes.
So when the dark side got more powerful, the Force was like, all right, here's a powerful light side Jedi
Yeah.
that we're just going to make
that's like,
out of ourselves.
I mean, harrow back to
Because of the Force.
Clone Wars on Mortis. I know I keep going back. That's one of my favorite episodes. I mean, when the brother kills the sister, the Force is out of balance. I mean, it's kind of that same thing.
Yeah.
That's what I think about Rey. She's a child of the Force.
This movie, it was one of the theories I was like into, was like, oh, who's Rey's parents?
Mm-hmm.
This
I just don't think it
movie
matters.
made me not care.
Yeah.
Right.
Because this movie, just the way they wrote it made it.
Not interesting.
What they did was they said, stop making theories, pretty much, I feel like.
Yeah.
They're like,
F your theory.
It's like a slap in the face kind
You got a
of
bunch
thing.
of Snoke theories? Guess what? He's dead and it doesn't matter.
Hey, Gal.
all those Rey theories, guess what? None of them matter.
Yep.
All those expectations for Luke, guess what? They don't matter because he croaks it when he tries too hard.
But see, that's what makes Star Wars fun, though.
Oh, I agree.
So that's why I think that's why another reason it upset me so much is that's what
Mhm.
that's what people love about Star Wars. If you like, I went on Reddit today just to see like what I never look
Oh,
at
it's
Star
not
Wars
good
Reddit,
right now.
and people are pissed.
Oh yeah.
People are so angry, and it is hilarious to read people's reactions to this movie. But I mean, like, theory crafting is fun. I mean, I love theory crafting.
We do it all the time with the DC movies
Right.
because they have to keep changing everything, so we
Yeah.
gotta keep making new theories.
Right.
Well, I do it all the time. My buddy Taylor, who's better be listening right now. Like, we craft theories on everything. Star Wars, Game of Thrones, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DC Cinematic Universe.
It's like the funnest part about
It
being
is.
a nerd.
I love it. Like, I get so much crap at work, and I hope you guys are listening to this, because screw you guys. I'm nerding out, and I'm having fun. Anyway. Okay?
You have no idea how sweaty we all
Yeah,
are.
I am getting seriously sweaty right now. Like, you can smell it. Like, it's so
Gross.
bad. Mostly because it's
Gross.
hot in here, but
Dang.
maybe that's just because I've never done this before, so sorry. Okay, rant over. Anyway, theory crafting is what I think brings the universe together as nerds, you know? Like as Star Wars fans,
And tears it apart.
and tears it apart.
It's like the Force.
It's like the Force.
But that's the fun part too.
Exactly. And I just felt like
nilly.
and I just felt like that this movie just like took that and crapped on it. I mean, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. That's what happened.
We actually said that. I felt like this movie took a dump on a lot of things.
It did.
I think my exact words were a huge middle finger
Yeah.
to Star Wars.
Yeah. And that's
And I mean that in
that's
the
really disappointing.
nicest way
yeah.
possible.
I disagreed with that because it sounded so mean.
And that I don't know how I'm gonna feel in 2 years when episode 9 comes out.
I know how I'm gonna feel. I'm gonna be like a kid again. I'm gonna be really excited.
I'm gonna be really excited and really nervous, just like I always am.
Yeah. I mean that's. Ugh.
Me too.
I mean, even with Han Solo coming out this next year, I'm pretty worried about it. Because if this movie does not deliver, that's a lot of pressure for episode 9. When episode 8 doesn't really receive that well with the fans, even though it made a crap ton of money, I know all of us in here were not overly enjoyed with the movie. That's a lot of pressure for Han Solo, and that's a lot of pressure for episode 9 to do well.
It doesn't add any more pressure to the Han Solo movie because
I don't think anybody
honestly,
cares about
I
it.
don't care
Yeah.
about it at all. Not even a little. I'm gonna see it because Donald Glover's in it, and
Yeah.
because I do this podcast.
Yeah.
If I didn't do this podcast and Donald Glover wasn't in that movie, I would not go see it.
See, I do not care about that movie, but I'm still going to be excited for it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
honestly, that kind of annoys me because it's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
Yep, the brand can't fail.
Here's what could deliver, and this is what I've been saying for weeks now. This is what I said a few weeks ago. I said if the Last Jedi does not deliver, we're going to get an announcement for an Obi-Wan movie pretty soon. That is something that every Star Wars fan has been wanting. You don't want an Obi-Wan movie?
No, I'm so
Why?
I am so sick of these 60 years that all these movies are taking
Yeah.
place. I want to go like 10,000
Well, it's just
years.
what they're doing.
I want to go 10,000 years before, or I
Oh,
want to go
yeah.
like 20,000 years after.
Where they
I'm
meet
just-
up with the Guardians of the Galaxy and they both all defeat Thanos at the end.
No,
Sorry.
just like with every movie that takes place
Yeah.
in between episode 1 and now episode 9, if it takes
Yeah.
place in between there, it's just making the universe smaller,
Yeah.
because that means every single bad thing has happened in a matter of like
40 to
50
50
years.
years.
I
And
don't
like-
yeah.
like I know it's not canon. The Mandalore Wars happened. The Knights of the Old Republic happened. Go back to the
Yep.
First Jedi. Go back to the planet Mortis when the Force was pretty much discovered. Do anything.
I really
Make
think
something up.
I'd
This-
also like to see not universe-ending stakes in a movie. I like to see a movie that takes place on a planet.
or a heist
on-
film.
On one, yeah, a heist film. Well, they did a heist film and it was bad.
Well, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Like something that takes place in like the
Okay. That's what I thought, but I was like,
what's the first planet you go to in Knights of the Old Republic?
Kodor?
Tannis.
Or
So yeah, the underworld, like a movie that takes place in the underworld of Tannis,
Dab.
like something that's like a alien gangster movie or something. Something that the stakes aren't
world ending,
If-
galaxy ending, world ending.
an
Ironic
entire
because that
empire
world gets
falling.
destroyed.
I really think with his new
But
trilogy,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
I really think with his new trilogy, it's gonna be. I really think it's gonna be Old Republic.
He said that it won't be.
Well, I mean, not like the actual Old Republic, but he's gonna like be in
In that
make
time
his
frame.
own time because it's not canon anymore, so he can play with it.
Do you still want a Ryan Johnson directed trilogy?
I'm sure listen, Ryan Johnson, I mean he can write good movies, he can make good movies. I just don't agree with how he did this one.
Well, I think part of the problem with the new trilogy is they're writing it as they go.
Yeah, which that bothers me.
You know,
Although
like
they all
each
know
director's doing their own thing,
supposedly they all know where the end game's going.
but I would hope so.
Yeah. And they're just like, okay, how do we get there? It's like Game of Thrones. They know exactly how it's going to end. They're just kind of going off on their own thing, and then boom, we're right back there.
I would personally like to see Ryan Johnson do something with the Mandalorian Wars,
Yeah.
because
That'd
I
be
think
sweet.
it's mentioned in. I don't remember if it's mentioned in Knights of the Old Republic or the prequels.
Well, it's mentioned in Clone Wars, and also Star Wars Rebels plays into it quite a bit.
Okay. If
Are you gonna say spoilers?
No, I was going to spout the name of the sword, but I forgot it, so I don't
Oh.
want to sound stupid.
that black blade,
It's I don't remember what it's called, but
the
it's called
prototype lightsaber type thing,
No, it's a lightsaber. Or not really.
like the black saber,
It's like the
black saber.
the vibra
Yeah.
blades from
kind of.
Old
It's
from
similar.
Old Republic.
Except it's not metal. It has
It's a
a
symbol,
laser come out,
and it's
kind
a
of thing.
symbol of leadership on Mandalore. Like
Yeah.
that is okay. You need to I don't know if you're caught up on Rebels or not.
No, I'm not.
The latest season of Rebels plays into just Mandalore and all that stuff, and man, it's good.
Okay,
I
anyway,
love
back to Last Jedi. This is the Last Jedi review.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah. we'll blaze through Twitter,
Yeah.
but kind of two last points, sorry, at least from me. I guess we'll just do a final thoughts right here. I'm changing our name of final thoughts to #ShowerThoughts.
Okay. That's a Reddit thing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. With Luke's death, a reason it really bothers me is because he went out there and they blew him up, air quotations, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's dead. But you're like, oh, of course he's not dead.
It's Luke Skywalker.
There's the first death fake out. Then Kylo goes out there and he fights him with his lightsaber, and he cuts right through him, and you're like, and he just gives that speech that Obi-Wan gave, like, cut me down and I'll be more powerful than you can imagine.
Yep.
So you're like, oh my gosh, they just killed him. And he's still there. And that's when you realize he's a hologram. Death fake out number 2 in a matter of minutes. They go to Octo, and he's been using the Force in the just most insane way ever. And you're like, holy crap. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Then he dies. It meant nothing because they just killed him twice. That was bad.
Yeah.
Then my last point, this was Logan's idea, and I really liked it. What they should have done with the Force hologram, you've established Leia can use the Force. She used the Force to fly through space.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, she can do something. Have Luke ask for her help to use the Force to project himself because it just takes too much power. In that instance, Leia disappears.
Yep.
You've written out Leia now. They've gotten to meet. They got to say goodbye. And Carrie Fisher's died, so now you've taken care of her plot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been good.
then you still have Luke alive to train Rey.
To actually train.
Train Rey. And now he has felt a sense of redemption because he's like, yes, I should be in this fight because I don't really remember if he ever says the Jedi should come back or not, but yeah, the Jedi should come back or Rey needs to be trained.
Mm-hmm.
That was Logan's idea,
I like it.
and I really like it.
I would have
too,
liked
so
that a
shout
lot.
out to Logan.
I would have liked that a lot.
My final thoughts are my shower thoughts. Star Wars was never about the jokes. It was about the characters.
Is that your shower thought?
Yeah. The jokes took me out of the movie so much. There were jokes in the original trilogy. Han's character said some funny things, but it was because of his character, and he would have said those things. When Leia says, I love you, his character, the jerk guy that he was, would say, I know.
And it was funny
And
at a very serious moment, too.
It was funny at a very serious moment, but it didn't stop the flow.
Absolutely.
It made...
Yep.
And him saying that impacts their relationship.
And they call back to it later in Return of the Jedi when Leia flips it, which is awesome. I always forget about that.
Have you ever seen the Star Wars Family Guy episode of that? When he says, I'm not going to say it, but I can't take that scene seriously anymore. I can't. I can't take it seriously anymore. Every time I see it, I'm thinking, oh, yeah.
Like, no one in the original trilogy... no one in the original trilogy is saying anything to be funny. Like, no one's making a joke.
They're just being themselves.
And
Yep.
and it's some of it is funny to the audience.
But it's not funny to them.
Yeah, it's like they're not stopping and making a joke. They're not taking a giant blade of grass and tickling someone's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the worst joke. That was
like,
so bad.
and there was other stuff like that wasn't necessarily jokes, but it was like Rey's doing an intense training montage. Let's cut to rocks almost hitting these
Aliens we don't care about.
weird looking aliens that don't matter, but it lets them be more upset at Rey for no reason, and that's funny.
Kind of with that, a character we didn't talk about, General Hux, is just comedic relief now.
Oh my, he's the I'm sorry, he's a typical Disney villain.
Yep.
He really is, and it drives me
I'm surprised
nuts.
he didn't have a mustache that he could twirl.
There was one part with him that I did like, though, when Kylo just throws him against the wall. I
That was
really
funny.
did like that. I enjoyed that.
I think I wrote in my notes, he's a typical Disney villain who just gets pushed around.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know what annoyed me the most in this movie?
Is this your shower thought?
Yes.
Okay.
This is my shower thoughts. The thing that annoyed me the most were those damn porgs. I hate
Lepke
them.
agrees. Lepke hated him.
Hate them. And even though I hated him, I also hated the scene where Chewbacca's like roasting one over the fire, and they're
plastic
watching. Yeah, and I was like, okay, we didn't need this. I mean, yes, this is awesome because I hate those things, but they just drove me nuts. That's my shower thoughts about this movie.
My shower thought is something I've said several times. Luke just would not have done the things he did. I don't think, like, Star Wars has always been about family. Luke's family is in danger, and he's just like, I'm not leaving this rock. I'm just going to chill here. You guys just do your thing. I'll figure it out later. A lot of the choices he made, I didn't agree with.
One of the whole reasons he gets into it is because his family is murdered. His aunt and uncle.
I'm definitely ready for the fate of the universe not to rely on a family feud, though.
Well, it's beginning to take that shape. So, I don't know. I just didn't like the way Luke was written.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the way he was written is the worst part of the movie.
Trust me, I'm with you on this.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
It just really eats at me.
What do you think episode 9 is going to be called?
Ready for repair?
I actually have 2 ideas.
I think it's going to be the Knights of Ren.
I think it's either going to be called Legacy of the Force or The New Order. And Rey's going to start the new Jedi.
I went for a joke there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow, classic Disney.
I thought this movie was going to be called The Knights of Ren because part of it was...
We know who they are now.
Yeah, they were we think we do.
Yeah.
The old Jedi, yeah.
Because I also think that the Knights of Ren were also the acolytes of the Force from Aftermath, but that's beyond the point.
There's just way too many tie-ins for this stuff. This is ridiculous.
Sorry.
So I'm just going through every title in my brain right now.
I think it's going to be called #PorgLife.
I will not be seeing it then.
Yeah, you will.
Probably so. But I won't like it.
Just for the name?
Yeah. Just kidding.
I like your The New Order because
Yeah, I do too.
It
has
plays
the-
off First Order
Yeah,
and it plays off Jedi Order.
exactly.
Boom, nailed it. Okay. That was awkward. Awkward transition.
The Force Unleashed.
We're doing it live!
Actually, that wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, we're
And
doing it live.
It's going to be like in The Legend of Korra when they open the spirit portals and all of a sudden
All the Force ghosts come out.
way more people have bending ability.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen and all of a sudden a bunch of people who didn't have the Force before are going to be able to use it.
Oh, jeez.
Hopefully it's better than Korra. Sorry, Korra, but you sucked. All right. If that's everything, I'm pleased to announce that the Last Jedi review is over and we can move on to Twitter with Tyler now.
Twitter with Tyler.
Wait
Yay.
for it.
Okay, we are
You got
gonna
to see that live.
we are gonna speed run this thing very quickly. So, first question he actually asked to was from Eric Exum at EXum. Spoilers, thoughts on the future of Leia in Episode 9, and thoughts on Leia's use of the Force. We've already addressed Leia's use on the Force. I thought it was stupid. Blake thought it was stupid. Chris thought it was stupid. Luke kind of liked it.
I like the idea of it.
Liked the idea of
We
it.
all thought it looked bad.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the future of Leia in Episode 9.
All right, I got this one. All right, movie starts off a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Main theme starts, says Star Wars. Episode 9, The New Order. General Leia has died. Done. That's it.
Okay. I've seen people are petitioning to recast her.
No.
I don't think they'll
Here's
do it.
here's the thing about that though.
And it's going to take place 5 years later, after 5 years.
I'm gonna hate at
Or
first
so.
if they recast Leia.
I don't think
gonna-
they will.
I think you have to. And I know this sounds bad, but Carrie Fisher would have wanted her character to be sent off the way that it was supposed to, not by just like digitally remaking her face or dying off screen. As much as I don't want it to happen, I think that's probably what's going to happen, and we as Star Wars fans are probably just gonna have to get over it.
So who's the lady who's kind of the overseer for all? Is her name
Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen Kennedy? She is not gonna let that happen. She plays
Let
hardball,
what?
apparently.
Let what happen?
Recasting Leia.
She's the one that wants to do it. She doesn't want to.
I thought it was a fan petition.
Well, yeah, it's a fan.
But she definitely said they're not doing
the
CGI
fans-
Leia.
No, yeah, she definitely said that is not happening.
So, thank God.
Yeah, because that was bad in the Rogue One.
Okay.
Rogue One.
So,
I agree with Luke.
Thanks.
you think that'd be the best way to handle it?
Yep.
Time jump killer in between time?
Yep.
I think that would be the
Leia
best
had
way.
I thought she had a really good performance in this movie.
Mhm.
I thought it was a good exit. She got to say bye to Luke.
Yeah. I'd be okay with it. It wouldn't bother me if they did that.
5-year time jump. Poe's essentially running.
In charge.
Yeah, he's
In charge of the
essentially
rebellion.
In charge of the rebellion.
Finn's got a beard now.
You could even have a funeral. You could even have a funeral scene at the beginning of the movie.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay, we never got into this. That's what pissed me off about this movie. You know how many times Han Solo was mentioned in this movie? Twice. That's unacceptable. Lucasfilm, if you're listening, that's unacceptable. You kill off one of the most favorite bounty smugglers in the galaxy, and you mention him twice in the next movie. First of all, Chewie walks right by Leia in The Force Awakens, and then you mention him twice in the next movie. That's not cool.
We get it.
Sorry.
We get it.
Sorry.
Chris is sleeping.
Rant.
Okay. Chris Brashears at Crispy.
Crispy.
That was such a funny moment
Crispy.
earlier on in this podcast. Said Holdo was a garbage character.
Yep.
Retweet.
Agreed. I'm gonna retweet that right now.
Yep.
And then Josh Taylor at JTizzle12 said he's gonna see The Last Jedi tonight. He just texted me. He said he's gonna be late with questions. He didn't send me any questions, but he said, "What is one of your guys' New Year's resolutions that resolves around the podcast?"
Get better at podcasting.
It revolves around the podcast?
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about resolutions that just revolve around my life.
I mean, we've should we talk about this? We've talked about setting up a Patreon and like doing movie commentaries.
And some other stuff.
Because
but
it doesn't cost us anything to have a Patreon. And if somebody does want to
support the podcast.
that, they'll get extra stuff. If they don't want to,
That's fine.
fine with us.
Yeah.
This is a hobby.
Yeah.
Mine is, I hope you guys let me back on.
Han Solo, baby.
Yeah.
We're also hoping to have a little more cross promotion with other podcasts
Yes.
and maybe we might do some guest spots on some other people's podcasts.
I was gonna say my number one for our podcast, I would like to hit 500 followers on Twitter in the new year. But like for myself and podcasting, I'd love to go on a sports podcast
Oh,
at
that'd be
some
sweet.
point. I just think I have good insight on sports. I think I'd have a lot of fun doing that.
I don't, so.
I also want to see the podcast in the woods get off the ground,
Yep.
and then maybe do a guest spot on there.
Heck yeah.
That'd be sweet.
I need to finish their theme. Let me rephrase that. I need to start their theme. Oh my gosh, it's so hard.
Yeah, our one-time guest host Zach Newman will be having the podcast in the woods. Probably hit the internet sometime early next year.
Sweet.
Baller status.
All right, and then the last thing we got on Twitter, can I jump to that?
Yeah.
Was from Brendan Foster, and his Twitter handle is at Brendan_KU14. This is the first time.
I have one too.
Oh, okay. And you have okay. And the next one is not the last one. Sorry. He was talking about Snoke and them killing him, and he said, personally, I just felt like there was a lot of hype around the idea from Episode 7, and then you completely discredit that all. I get that they wanted to Wait, I am really. What am I? I'm reading this out of line, I think. Okay, he said, I get that they wanted the anybody can be a hero theme. Are you laughing at me? Or
I'm laughing at Chris.
Oh. That anybody can be a hero theme to be prevalent, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't dive into a fascinating part of potentially Ren's arc, like with Snoke in that relationship. He just wanted them to dive more into Snoke, is something that he wanted. And that was just one of his thoughts on the movie.
I agree. I would have liked to have known anything about Snoke.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't think the possibility's gone. I mean, we really don't know anything about him. We just know he's from the unknown regions, and we mentioned that earlier. I think we're going to get more into it in the next movie because that was JJ's. I mean, he started him. He created him. He's going to end him. He's going to know how to end him. So.
He's actually... That body is has already been dead, and he's just a collection of parasites inside that body, propping it up and moving it around, and that's why it looks so gross and nasty. But it's just a bunch of force-using...
It's a force-using bug from Men in Black.
It's a bunch of force-using bugs inside of a
Something
body.
I saw that was interesting about Snoke, and it kind of goes with what he's saying, is somebody was like, well, when you see Snoke in Episode 7, like, that face tells a story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his face is messed up. Like, there's a story there, and they just kind of disregard that.
Car accident.
Sure. But that, I mean, I agree with that. I think there was definitely more to be told. I don't care that they didn't, but there was more to be told.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
And I think that is all I have. Luke, what did you have?
Yes, I got a question from my personal friend, Zach Newman, a.k.a. Steve Samboni, a.k.a. Jonathan Willman. And he asked, this is a really good question. I really like this question. It's really simple, but I like it. When The Force Awakens came out, people complained that it was derivative of A New Hope, and they were just copying the old movies. Now that The Last Jedi is out, people are complaining that it doesn't feel like Star Wars, and they're changing everything I love about Star Wars. Will people ever be happy with a new Star Wars movie?
No. Because of nostalgia. Like, you cannot... No one will like a new Star Wars movie as much as they liked the first Star Wars movie they saw. That's why children who saw the prequels before they saw the originals loved the prequels. Because it introduced them to the idea of a Jedi and of a lightsaber and all that stuff. And, like... We saw the original trilogy before we saw we might be like the last generation to see the original trilogy before the prequels. And so there will never be a Star Wars movie that makes us feel the way the original trilogy did.
Yep.
You can't please everybody. I mean, that's just the reality of filmmaking.
I think the only way it could happen is kind of like with Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
Just get away from all of it.
It has to be just way away from 1 through 9.
Yep, it has to be. I mean,
which is a reason why you can't put it in those 50 years. Because if you put it in those 50 years and you don't mention the Millennium Falcon or Skywalkers, then the movie's horrible. Also, prediction for 9, Millennium Falcon's going to blow up. See you, bye. Sorry, I forgot to say that earlier.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think you can please everybody.
No, I agree. I mean, for me, I was first introduced to Star Wars with A New Hope. And then Empire blew my mind, and then Return of the Jedi blew my mind. And then George Lucas decided to say Han shot first, and that really ticked me off. And then he added CGI in the original trilogy, which made me mad. You're never going to please everybody. But I think what's really cool is how it brings everybody together, which I think that's kind of what they were wanting to begin with. But
which sucks, because this movie is doing the complete opposite.
Exactly. I agree.
Everybody's just...
It's like you said...
Only, like, they're just so intent about defending what they love or did not like.
Which sucks, because we go to Star Wars movies to get away from that.
Yeah.
And now it's more prevalent than ever, unfortunately.
Well, I guess we'll just wait for 9.
Yep.
Until then.
Man,
keep going at each other. Get into it, yeah.
I feel like we're ending super negatively, because we talked at the whole back half of this podcast was us talking about a lot of specific things we disliked. But I do just want to end saying that I enjoyed the movie. I had fun at the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, there were it didn't fit the tone of what I expect Star Wars to be. But you guys were also talking about how that's post-Avengers Hollywood, which, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with. I think that Hollywood needs to be able to make a movie without having a joke in every single scene. But even with that thing that I really disliked about it, I still really liked it, and it still had my favorite spaceship scene in any movie ever. It had really good dogfights. Like most of the ship battles were really cool. The lightsaber fight was really cool. Like there was definitely good in this movie.
Yeah, there's some good in it, but there's way more bad things. And like I think I said it before we got into spoilers.
I was trying to leave our audience on a high note. Thank you.
Yeah,
How about this
fine.
high note?
I was just saying the bad is so bad that you can't help but focus on it.
Yeah.
So that it kind of shows in the spoiler section. All we could focus on was the bad. Like,
yeah.
Leaving the audience on a high note is pointless when you just
yeah,
crush them back down again.
it is.
That's like what The Force Awakens did, and then The Last
Thanks,
Jedi
guys. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm gonna buy it and watch it again.
Oh, I'm gonna go see it again in theaters.
Yeah.
I encourage all of you to do it too, because
I don't see movies twice in theaters.
Yeah, make your
This-
own opinion about it.
yeah, because honestly, I was so mad when I walked out of the first time. And I texted you this yesterday.
Mhm.
I was still pretty upset, but I wasn't as mad as I was before. Because I'm thinking, okay, now I've seen it once. I can finally figure out the direction.
You know the surprises and the twists.
Yeah, and it's not going to take me out of the movie. I can focus on the storyline a little bit more, which still wasn't that great, but it made a little bit more sense the second time. So take that for what it's worth.
Yep.
So
I will say I feel like when The Force Awakens came out, one of the things that I said about it was I feel like it's setting up for the rest of the movies, and I kind of still feel the same way about The Last Jedi.
yeah.
It still feels like it's setting up for something better.
Yep.
Which they can't just keep doing that. They need to deliver at some point.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to end the conversation because we've been doing this a really long time.
Be sure to like us on iTunes, subscribe to us on iTunes, rate and review,
Yep.
and
5 stars. Do it.
Done.
follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter.
Tweet at us.
At What the Fanboy. Send us your reviews of The Last Jedi. Send us your questions. Hey, send us your shower thoughts, man. Whatever pops in your head, just tweet it at us. I don't care. I like reading people's thoughts. You can follow me on Twitter at The Boy Wonder. God, I say it wrong every week. The Boy Wonder. THE_BOI_WUNDA.
There you go.
Crushed it.
You can follow me on Twitter at Tyler_19_Davis.
Blake, where are you at on Twitter?
At Blake Beye. All one word.
Nice.
Or my name is actually BB Blake. So
I saw that. I thought that was really cool.
yeah.
Well, thank you all for listening. It's been a long episode. It's been a lot of fun. We all love talking Star Wars. We'll see you next week, and may the Force be with you.
Or we could do, something about
Just go
how
through.
much I just love sand.
Hello.
We're going to talk about how much we love sand today.
Blake's really loud.
I love it.
Can do some crazy things with it.
That's scary.
I could try and auto-tune you.
It had
California love.